Okay, we have a 10-second delay, Nerd Squad. It is 7:37 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 10-second delay, Nerd Squad. 7:37 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is a consensual recording of Mystic Gwen pursuant to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Unit 207 continues with their ongoing pattern of criminal conduct within their aggravated criminal enterprise, criminal conspiracy, their domestic terrorist organization, and keeps criminally and illegally shutting off the live streams. And then retroactively erasing the footage from Unit 207 while the males and females upstairs discuss it. Currently, they're preventing this live stream from being visible to anyone except for myself on the Lenovo ThinkPad, concurrent with registering as there being 0 viewers, although I am very much actively viewing this, as you just heard the audio of the beginning of this live stream. I'm refreshing again. You do want to go to facebook.com/Mystic Gwen Loves Only You and read the police report filed this morning at 3 a.m. And the reason that you want to do that is that it was also filed as an addendum. It's legally required to be placed into each and every single fraudulent court case that is a result of this criminal enterprise, this aggravated criminal conspiracy, the domestic terrorist organization that currently has over 4 people directly upstairs committing crimes against the federal government each and every time they illegally and criminally terminate a live stream. They illegally and criminally terminate a live stream. Now, I've orally read aloud the police report and addendum, but believe you me, you definitely want to hear it. And Unit 207 is making a concerted effort to prevent that. But it's not limited to that, because if you've been paying attention, they said they were going to wage a war and all of these crazy things, considering they are a domestic terrorist organization and they've already done enough for each and every one of them to go to a maximum security federal penitentiary for the rest of their lives. That's part of the reason myself and the FBI think they're being so incredibly stupid over the last 72 hours. That's part of the reason myself and the FBI think they're being so incredibly stupid over the last 72 hours. That's part of the reason. Now, I have 0 intention of ending this live stream for a good 12 hours, but Unit 207 has other ideas, and each time that they terminate the live stream and/or retroactively mess with it in any way, shape, or form, they are adding mandatory minimum sentences, and they've already got life in prison. Again, that's part of the reason for the crime spree of the last 72 hours. In prison. Again, that's part of the reason for the crime spree of the last 72 hours. They have nothing left to lose because they themselves have perpetrated 250 plus separate crimes against myself, against the state of Washington, against the county of Snohomish, against the city of Everett, and most notably against the United States of America. Notably against the United States of America. Now, for those of you that have an IQ below 70, you're going to want to definitely read the latest police report and addendum on facebook.com/Mystic Gwen Loves Only You, because it literally explains to you how it is you are a domestic terrorist. How it is you are a domestic terrorist. Something the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office knows, the Seattle FBI Field Office knows, the Department of Justice Criminal Task Force, i.e. the FBI, knows, and the Seattle Federal Marshals. And the Seattle Federal Marshals. Now, I was going to read aloud the latest police report, but every time that I go to play that recording, Unit 207 criminally and illegally shuts off the live stream. So you can hear it in some of the preceding live streams, any that go for longer than 25 minutes since 3 a.m. today, assuming there are any. I literally can't go back and click and check because they'll just shut off this live stream. Go back and click and check because they'll just shut off this live stream. But I know for sure I was able to record the full thing about 2 hours into the 4:30 live stream. About 2 hours into the 4:30 live stream. That's this morning, a.m. And this video is titled 213-736 a.m. Domestic Terrorist Organization equals Unit 207. /NEP/et al. New addendum report as of 3 a.m. Again, I'd play the recording, but it's just too risky. So we'll let it float. Maybe if they let this live stream roll for an hour or two, maybe then I'll play it. Maybe not. I am going to commence with the recording on the Lenovo ThinkPad since they're back up to this crime. So I've just started a recording again on the Lenovo ThinkPad since the prior one was used in order to make a recording of me reading aloud the police report. It is now 7:43 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Thursday, February 13th, 2025. The domestic terrorist upstairs, the aggravated criminal conspiracy, the former officers who are in fact child abusers, kidnappers, stalkers, frauds, etc. Domestic terrorist upstairs keep shutting off the live stream. So we'll be running this on the Lenovo, but remember, they criminally and illegally erased a 20-hour live stream this morning, which you can see yourself in, I believe it was the 1:55 a.m. live stream. Maybe it's the one that immediately superseded it. And again, you'll have to go to facebook.com/Mystic Gwen Loves Only You if you weren't personally served with today's police report and addendum that is legally required to be filed in each and every case, which literally lays it out for those of you with an IQ under 70, how it is that you've hit every legal statute required to be labeled as domestic terrorist, something you've all been since day one of you participating. For some, that means since March of 2023. For some, it means since September of 2023, and for some, it means even more recently than that. Either way, make no doubts about it. You are indeed part of a domestic terrorist organization and an aggravated criminal conspiracy. You've never been part of an operation, and you're going to prison if you haven't blown the whistle. Oh, it looks like they criminally and illegally shut off this live stream again. Oh, now I see it. We're still connected. Oh. Now I see it. We're still connected. And keep in mind, my front doors remained closed since January 2nd, 2025, per FBI's instructions. The sole exception being the disabled teens that have been abused by these imbeciles and their co-conspirators at their direction for 13 months were used to facilitate the breaking and entering that was planned in the domestic terrorist organization's base of stalking and criminal activity operations, i.e. the condo directly above my home of 13 years for 19 days straight prior to them having those disabled boys break and enter. Those boys that are very much legally kidnapped, who they will be convicted for endangering, for having play a role in their domestic terrorist organization, for coercing and for abusing. Oh, and let's not forget Miss 80 plus years, who's facing multiple felony counts of kidnapping, even though she's never had possession of my sons. So again, I'd love to read aloud for you the police report /addendum, but Unit 207 keeps criminally and illegally shutting off these live streams. And I don't want to spend another 9 hours having to say the same thing over and over and over again, like they made me have to do on the 11th, and like they've made me have to do since 7:55 p.m. PST last night. Why? Because they don't understand that it is only them that is going to prison. And that it is only them that literally is going to be spending the rest of their life, Stephen McQueen style, throwing a baseball against a cement wall this time next year. If you didn't get that reference, it's from The Great Escape. An excellent film. Spoiler alert, just like Stephen McQueen, you're not going to escape if you didn't blow the whistle before the new year. Okay, so I am going to keep this recording on the Lenovo ThinkPad going. Remember, you yourself have to go and read the police report because Unit 207's domestic terrorist organization, criminal enterprise, aggravated criminal conspiracy is doing anything and everything they can to facilitate the Blitz sweep taking place weeks earlier than the FBI was projecting. Would you all like to spend your Valentine's Day in King County Jail? Is that how you'd like to spend it? County Jail? Is that how you'd like to spend it? County Jail? All right. I'll keep the recording running on the Lenovo ThinkPad. Again, the door has been closed, with the sole exception being the felonies that they had, those disabled teen boys that they've been abusing, coercing, and having follow their criminal instructions for 13 months. And the door is still closed because, like you were told in the February 8th addendum, the FBI has said my door is to stay closed until you are all booked, detained, and in King County Jail. Detained and in King County Jail. And/or you come and perpetrate what the FBI says will be the third illegal entry, which will constitute the act of domestic terrorism that the Seattle Federal Marshals really, really want. Marshals really, really want. Marshals really, really want. Marshals really, really want. So you have a terrific Thursday. I'm going back to the podcast I was listening to. I'm not in the mood, though, for time suck anymore. What I want to hear is the latest episode of Annie Wood, but the last 2 weeks she has done like live streams, so I'm just going to assume that she's not going to have a podcast up until like noon is when she's been doing the previous ones. I will have to intermittently turn on this live stream, unmute it to make sure that it is still recording, because Unit 207 has been criminally and illegally shutting them off so incessantly. Again, the only plus I could see coming from this is that they're detained sooner than the FBI was projecting, which is fine by me. FBI was projected, which is fine by me. FBI was projected, which is fine by me. FBI was projected, which is fine by me. And then remember, I'm not an employee of the FBI, but I've been authorized to state I'm an informant since the last week of June 2024. And that's because so many of your charges are going to hinge on the fact that I am an informant. Hinge on the fact that I am an informant. Hinge on the fact that I am. Like the Class A felony witness tampering all of you are facing. 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 So on that note, I'm going to put on a scary podcast. I'm going to put on the Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings. That's more my speed today, especially given the aggravation of being surrounded by stalking domestic terrorists, professional disgraces to every man, woman who is a public servant in any capacity. Servant in any capacity. Servant in any capacity.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager. Jeans with holes in them. I'm going to.
Is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you keep an eye on their spending.
Twinsies.
To
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank NA, member FDIC.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life, someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling in a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar. I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
Back again, I see. We love repeat customers. Let me see. What do I have for you this time? Ah, yes. A set of keys. All different shapes and sizes. Some old, some new. Now you might be thinking, some new could I have use for? Now you might be thinking, some new could I have use? That's where you'd be sorely mistaken. For they unlock a disturbing night of mayhem. Go into escrow for do not go in that house. Welcome to the antiquarium of sinister happenings and odd goings-on.
Bennett Manor on the hill. From the halls your blood will spill. The devil's mark on floors of oak. On pain and suffering you'll choke. Screams are all that fill the air. 10,000 people murdered there. Past the door, there's no way out.
Don't go inside that fucking house!
You are alone, driving down a stretch of road for what seems an eternity. The rain continuing its relentless soaking of the windshield. The wipers struggle to keep up. You are exhausted from the banal repetition. The blurred yellow lines from the freeway chomped up by each of the blades as they fall towards the hood of the car. It's hypnotizing. You are in no shape to leave home on such short notice. The unexpected funeral of someone who meant an awful lot to you put you behind the wheel on this dreary evening. Your destination is maybe 3 hours away, you notice, as you glance down towards your phone. It looks like it's still a while to go before any turns. Great. The charging cable wasn't in all the way. You love it when that happens. You look back up and try to make out the road through the waterfall punishing the glass. Your eyelids all of a sudden feel like they weigh 1,000 pounds.
And the cake is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. It is your 100th birthday party, and from your shoulder blades, an ache beyond anything you have ever experienced. The awful tearing of skin radiates across your back as something fights to emerge from underneath. Blood sprays from fresh wounds as sharp cartilage framing slick tufts of oily black erupt from inside you. The attending guests look on in great pleasure. They are all children, their faces being washed with oceans of blood cascading from reptilian wings that are moving slowly up and down on either side of you. They laugh as they raise their hands in the air. Reptilian wings that are moving slowly up and down on either side of you.
the airbag, things begin to come into focus as you slowly awaken. You're on the side of a stretch of road, your car wrapped around a tree. A large branch punctured through the passenger side window had just narrowly missed you. You grab the rearview mirror that is hanging by a broken piece of plastic and see that your face is in one piece. A few minor cuts from the glass is all, but it feels like tiny pellets being shot at you from point-blank range. You contort and stretch your mouth. You move your arms across to your seatbelt and unlatch it, gliding your legs over as you open the door and lurch outside. You grab
Unit
your lifeless
207 is
phone in the
actively
process.
attempting to terminate this live stream at 7:58
Standing
a.m.
outside,
They attempted at
you feel
7:56
bruised.
a.m.
But okay.
For some reason,
The
we're
rain has
thwarted.
The
Perhaps
mist
because I
causing
have the live
blood to
stream
run
open
into your
in two
mouth with the
different
taste of
windows.
copper.
I don't know.
You survey the area
Female up
around
there
you.
is on it though. She is
looking away
actively
from the
trying to
wreck of rubber
terminate
and
it,
steel.
and I promise you, girl, you're
Up a bit
actively
further,
trying to go to
you
King
see some
County Jail
lights
weeks
dangling
sooner
on
than
the
you're
horizon.
supposed to.
You
That's what you're
decide in
actually
this
doing.
moment that those lights are your salvation and start your ascent out of the woods, up from the ditch and along the side of this deserted dirt road. As you get closer, the lights become windows. Closer still, and the windows become the eyes of the second story of a stately Victorian house on a hill. It is nestled on either side by vacant farmland, save for a rusted old hearse in the gravel driveway. You are standing at the foot of the house now. The architecture is stunning, but decaying. From the base of the staircase, the front door is up about 6 steps in the center, draped with carved gingerbread spindles. A tower on the left with large patches of exposed beams revealed by aged paint and plaster that had lost their battle of relevancy over time. This mansion feels incredibly out of place in the middle of nowhere like this, almost as if you were imagining the whole thing. Perhaps you are back in that twisted mess of steel, nuzzled into the deployed airbag, unconscious and delusional, creating this whole entire thing in your mind. The uncomfortable throbbing you feel all over your body says otherwise. You tell yourself it is likely from the reflex of tensing up every muscle in the milliseconds prior to impact. It feels like the day you went to the gym that one time, 3 weeks after New Year's Day, with a little too much enthusiasm. You go up the steps to the door. You hear someone approaching. The door slowly creaks wide open. And standing there is a tall man in a black suit. He is gaunt, but youthful. Pale with not a hair on his head. Dark circles around his eyes of what resembles grease paint. He is staring at you and won't look away. Yes. Black tar coats his teeth and it drips down his chin, running along his neck. There is an uncomfortable elegance to the odd man. Suddenly, a little girl appears by his side.
Welcome to Bennett Manor, the precipice of
Suddenly,
your eternal
a little girl
damnation.
appears by his side.
Welcome to Bennett Manor.
The odd man doesn't acknowledge her. He is just standing there with the same maniacal, toothy grin, frozen in place as he stares right through you. He won't stop smiling. You explain your predicament the best way you can muster, as an intoxicating blend of awkwardness and fear warms your soul until a chill hits your spine. Intoxicating blend of awkwardness and fear warms your soul until it. The odd man remains as if frozen in time, tar pouring from his twisted smile onto the floor. At once, he springs into action.
Ah, come hither, my sweet fawn. A fawn, a phone. Maybe you could use a phone. I believe I've got one around. Please make yourself at home.
The odd man contorts to a curtsy and flamboyantly motions you inside Bennett Manor. The door slams shut behind you on its own. You enter the parlor. The entire room is paneled in dark wood. Faded, heavy red velvet curtains drape from the windows and pool onto the floor. A fireplace cracks and wheezes as your host takes a seat on an emerald fainting sofa. The manor smells of its age. 100 years of lacquer, books, and Christmas Eves on the hearth. It is absolutely delicious. You spin around slowly to take it all in. The throw rugs piled on top of each other corner to corner, as if to give safe passage to a floor of quicksand. Nothing is unsettling about this place at all, except for the odd man who is perched on the sofa with his large grin and stare. Not to mention the sound of a woman sobbing coming from somewhere inside this house. You wonder if the odd man noticed that you noticed. You were about to say something, but he does first, almost leaping from the sofa.
Ah, the phone, Mr. Automobile Accident. I never did get your name, but then again, you didn't get mine. And that's likely for the best. Yes, I do prefer it that way, kind sir.
The man walks out of the room and down one of two hallways leading from the parlor.
Now to find the wretched thing.
As his voice trails off, the sobbing you heard earlier is elevated. From out of the silence, you can even make out words.
Hello? Can you even hear me? You've got to get me out of here. Don't trust him.
My sincerest apologies for the interruption, but it appears as though there are some issues with an, unhappy customer. Tell you what, let me go take care of things real quick, and I'll be right with you.
For more than 50 years, National University has been a military-friendly, yellow ribbon school that understands the importance of honor and commitment. With 4 and 8-week classes available, year-round enrollment, and more than 190 programs to choose from, we help veterans just like you define the next chapter of their careers. Learn more at nu.edu. That's nu.edu.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life? Who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80.
$0 copay. No insurance? No
with a
problem.
licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar. I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and 0 weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
Well, there you are. Been looking all over for you. So sorry about the minor inconvenience. Now, well, there you are. Been looking all over for you. So sorry about the minor inconvenience.
From out of the silence, you can even make out words.
Hello? Do you even hear me? You've got to get me out of here. Don't trust
It is currently 8:08 a.m. PST. I am running that recording on the Lenovo ThinkPad.
As you follow the screen,
Unit 207 is still actively attempting to terminate the live stream the same way they've managed to do to over 30 live streams in less than 72 hours, all of which constitute numerous charges for each individual criminal act, like they've been pulled over and over and over again since they began illegally detaining
pass a
me.
closed door and approach
In
your
August.
final destination. The sobbing has all but subsided as you wrap your hand around
Over
the
half
glass
a year
line
ago.
to turn it. Inside reveals a 10 by 10 foot room with some rusted old appliances aligning one side of the wall. On the floor, a large pentagram inlaid into the parquet that looked to be as old as the house itself. In the center, a concrete cylinder. From the cylinder is a chain. At the end of the chain is a beautiful woman in a blue dress. There was a clasp around both ankles, her hands shackled together.
You've got to get me out of here. That man is a monster. He tricked me to get me to come inside this place. He's done sick, horrible things. We don't have much time.
She fights through tears
He's
and
done
reaches out
sick,
towards you.
horrible things. There's a key. Further down the hall, in the kitchen, hanging on a hook next to the stove. But pay your mind to the butcher. If he sees you, there might be nothing left of you to hold it.
You turn back out to complete the terrifying task. But just as you pass the threshold,
Wait! Open that cabinet on the other side of the room.
she kicks her feet towards him. You run over. Inside, a .38 revolver.
He keeps one round in it. If you see him out there, shoot him. And for God's sakes, do not miss. Are you out there? Shoot him. In hell. For God's sakes, do not
be the
miss.
least of your words.
Amen.
You hear a voice bellow in the distance, followed by footsteps quickly approaching her prison.
You let him touch me!
Julia, you know full well we don't talk to strangers.
You raise the
You know full well we don't talk to strangers.
followed by his bulbous, greasy head. That insane smile turned up so high on the corners now you swear it's cutting into his cheekbones. His teeth are practically invisible. They are oozing with so much slick, dark goop. His eyes quickly widen at the sight of the barrel of the gun pointed at his face.
Kindly, sir, you have no idea what you are about to do.
You are splashed with the horrid fluid from his mouth as you pull the trigger. The lone round leaps from the chamber and strikes the man in the shoulder. He hits the ground with a thud, unconscious, as blood pours from the wound.
Yes! Now get the key!
You are frozen in fear. You drop the gun by your side and slowly leave the room and head on to the kitchen. You approach a hulking, windowless, rusted metal door and slide it open. Windowless, rusted metal door, his back towards you, is a massive man in an apron that is stained in red. It even paints his rubber boots that rest just below his knees.
And
He
the
raises
apron
a cleaver,
said, "Kiss the
and as
cook."
his arm swings up, it reveals the top half of a human torso on a large wooden block in front of him. It's the butcher. He can feel your presence and swiftly turns to face you.
Who is in my kitchen?
He can feel your presence and swiftly turns to face you.
Who is in my kitchen?
As the blade leaves his hand, it swings across the room and is embedded into the wall just beside you. The torso in front of him rolls onto the floor, the intestines spilling forth like 100 snakes. You dart back past the sheet metal as the butcher charges towards you. The key drops out of your pocket, clanks onto the floor, and bounces into the room where the woman is chained. You continue running down the hall. You glance back to see the butcher has dropped to his knees and is holding the odd man.
Oh no, you've done it!
You race onwards to the end of the hall. The butcher gets up to continue the chase. You find yourself in a dead end as he quickly approaches you. The butcher gets up to continue the chase. You find yourself in a dead end. You quickly reach out your hands and begin feeling the walls, hoping for a way to make your hunch a reality. You feel a latch under the lip of the wainscot. You squeeze it as the wall pushes open. You stumble into a dark room. As you close the panel behind you, you notice a deadbolt and slide it shut. The door shakes twice to the butcher's struggle as the footsteps walk away. Just as you turn around to take in your surroundings. Wake up! The pain on your head is so intense. Wake up! You realize you are strapped to a dentist chair. Tufts of stained orange foam pokes through in patches between your legs. You can feel the stale, foul air hit your teeth and pierce your lungs, making you want to vomit. You do. Bile cascades out of your mouth quite easily as you feel metal armatures holding it open. You realize you've been fitted with a cheek retractor. That's when you hear the drill. You fight to escape. The leather straps on your arms just seem to tighten. Your legs won't move. Standing in front of you is a, well, you can only really describe it as a creature. It is wearing blue scrubs, smeared in yellow and orange, a mix of dried blood and vomit. Its face is scarred and oozing. Tiny black sunglasses cover its eyes. Its mouth gapes open, displaying rows of sharp fangs. It emits a terrifying scream. Fangs. It emits a terrifying scream. It is standing over you now, and there is nothing you can do about it. The tool pierces your gums and bores into your flesh. The pain nearly knocks you out instantly, but you fight to hang on. The beast hurries back to a small metal table and grabs a pair of what looks like pliers. They grab on to one of your front teeth as it is slowly pulled loose. A long string of nerves follow along and snap as the tooth is extracted and dropped onto a pan. The beast seems content and grabs a thin steel wire, returning for more chaos. You pass out and come to again in seconds. The monster wedges the wire in between two of your teeth and slices into your gums, your mouth full of the taste of blood as it pours out of you, soaking your clothes. It pushes the wire deeper and makes another awful sound. All of a sudden, you feel the weight of the beast press towards you, pushing you into your seat. You can see the shiny steel of the butcher's cleaver resting in the back of its head. With a gasp, a rush of air leaves its mouth, and you can feel the hot, pungent air on your neck. Standing there now is the woman. She begins to unstrap the leather belts that hold you in place. Now is the woman. She begins to unstrap the leather belts that hold you. Gore trails from the mouth to the metal gear as she removes it from your head. She pulls you up, and gripping each other's hands, she guides you through a tunnel that winds around once to the left and once to the right before emerging above a pale pink tub in the bathroom. You climb out and soon find yourself back in the hallway opposite the kitchen. The odd man's body has moved a few feet from where it was. In the hallway opposite the kitchen. The odd man's body has moved a few feet from where it was.
She's still alive.
Run as if everything depends on it. This is a madhouse.
You can hear the weight of the butcher's boots.
Everything
bending the
depends on it.
floorboards
This
towards
is a madhouse.
You won't last out there without
The woman drags you towards the front door, slides open a drawer on a small table next to it, revealing a set of car keys. She hurriedly unlocks the door and the two of you barrel down the stairs towards the black hearse. She throws you the keys.
Drive.
You both jump in. At the doorway of Bennett Manor, you see the odd man and the butcher hobbled over in defeat, bracing themselves on either side of the door as you make your escape down the hill and turn onto the road leading back to the freeway. Adrenaline is pumping through your body. It seems after an eternity, you are still struggling to catch your breath and regulate every function in your body again. You are speechless in shock. Every function in your body again. I don't know where you are. You are speechless in shock. As you drive, your passenger, the beautiful woman in blue, is fast asleep. Your passenger, her dark hair, the beautiful woman in blue. The sleeve of her dress falls towards her as she shifts suddenly and falls back into slumber. It is then when you notice a small stick and poke tattoo on the woman's right shoulder that reads, "To found on the woman's right shoulder, 203. 441. To found on the woman's right shoulder, 203. 441. To found 441. 3122. Whatever you do not call that number. Whatever you do not.
Thank you for your patronage. Hope you enjoyed your new relic as much as I enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed your new relic as much as I enjoyed. With our usual warning, however, absolutely no refunds, no exchanges, and we won't be held liable for anything that may or may not occur while the object is in your possession. Oh. You think just because you're only listening to my voice that you have nothing to be concerned about? Let me assure you that your visit to the antiquarium, whether in the flesh or in your mind's eye, is most certainly not in vain. You are, after all, the architect of this place. I must say you've done a hell of a job. Even the way you have given me a face and carved out the most minute details of my person in that cerebrum of yours is quite impressive indeed. Therefore, why would you procure within these walls, even on a Therefore, why would you procure within these walls, even on a and are now and forever part of your subconscious. Part of our standard sales. Till next time, we'll be waiting for you whenever you close your eyes. Waiting for you in the space whenever you close your eyes. Waiting for you in the space whenever you close your eyes. Or by appointment, only for you, our best customer. You have a good night now.
The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings, Lot 010. Do not go in that house. Written by Trevor Shand. Featuring Trevor Shand as the narrator, Nils Frykdahl as the odd man, Addison Peacock as the woman, Stephen Knowles as the butcher, Jade Shand as the little girl, Stephen Knowles as the antique dealer. Engineering, production, and sound design by Trevor Shand. The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings is created and curated by Trevor and Lauren Shand. Theme music by the Newton Brothers. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at AntiquariumPod. Call the Antiquarium at 646-481-7197.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years, and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, It's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
For more than 50 years,
Professional
National University has been a military-friendly,
domestic
yellow-ribbon
terrorist.
school that understands the importance of honor and commitment. With 4 and 8-week classes available, year-round enrollment, and more than 190 programs to choose from, we help veterans just like you define the next chapter of their careers. Learn more at nu.edu.
Hello, welcome to
That's
Panda
NU
Express.
dot
Would you like
edu.
orange chicken? I used to be an officer at the North Everett Precinct of fraudsters. The North Everett Precinct of stalkers. I'm in the domestic terrorist organization known as the North Everett Precinct. Now I manage a Panda Express and I take orange chicken
Anthology of
complaints.
horror, thrillers, and suspense. And he has delivered you up to me. And he has delivered you up to me. Forgiven tales from the dark side.
I'm no psycho.
I'm hungry for your vengeance.
I can feel them under my skin, and I had to cut them out. We can't help her. Relieve me. What? Risa, what? A man's severed head.
I need the light. You want me to fall down the stairs?
No. I want to push you. I love you so fucking much.
Ominous and Thrill. Available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and everywhere. Oh, yes. Thrill you later.
If you missed it, I said, I used to be an officer at the North Everett Precinct of fraudsters. Correction. The North Everett Precinct of stalkers. Correction. The North Everett Precinct. Now I manage Panda Express. I take orange chicken complaints. I take orange chicken complaints because I'm no longer affiliated with that domestic terrorist organization, that criminal enterprise, that aggravated criminal conspiracy that has never been in operation. That has never been in operation.
Chills, muscle aches, or cough. Had a vaccine or plan to.
That'll be
Or if
some of the
inflammatory
lucky
bowel
ones.
disease symptoms
Some of the
develop or
lucky
worsen.
ones are
Serious
going to
allergic
go on
reactions
to
and severe
managing Panda
eczema-like
Express
skin
and
infections.
shaking.
Serious
Are going to
allergic
go on to
reactions and
managing
severe
Panda
eczema-like
Express
skin
and
infections.
shaking. Are going to go on to managing. If you missed it, let's go over some FBI quotes. Quote, there will be an exodus at the North Everett Precinct. Exodus at the North
Your
Everett
time and
Precinct.
expertise are valuable, making focus one of the most important resources to have at work. These days, professionals spend nearly half
Whistleblowers
the
who
work
blew
week
the
on written
whistle
communication,
independently
and it
before
can be
New
difficult to
Year's,
stay on
don't
task
worry.
with all the
We
emails and
know that you're
documents you have to get
victims
through.
too.
With Grammarly as your AI writing partner, you can stay focused and quickly get through your work with relevant real-time suggestions wherever you write. It works across 500,000 apps and websites, so it can help with everything, from brainstorming presentation ideas to sounding more confident and persuasive in emails and reports.
Now
For
I work at
15
Panda
years,
Express
Grammarly
and
has
I
offered
take
best-in-class
orange chicken
communication support,
complaints.
and Grammarly has
I
offered
take
best-in-class
orange chicken
communication support.
complaints.
And Grammarly, 93% of professionals report that Grammarly helps them get more work done. Download Grammarly for free at grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.
If federal felons, did you pray today?
Podcast. Why?
If federal felons, did you pray today?
We've
Why?
outsourced most
If federal felons, did you pray today?
And with that, we sent away good jobs and our capability to make things. American Giant is a clothing company that's pushing back against this tide. They make all kinds of high-quality clothing and activewear, like sweatshirts, jeans, dresses, jackets, and so much more, right here in the USA.
Also, just
So
to be
when you
clear,
buy
I'm not
American
knocking
Giant,
anybody that
you
manages
create
Panda
jobs in
Express,
towns and
dude.
cities
I would
across the country.
literally
And jobs bring
love to have some
purpose.
orange chicken right
They
now.
stitch people.
Love to have
If
some
all
orange
that
chicken
sounds
right
good,
now.
stitch people. Visit American-Giant.com
But I'm more a general
and
towels
get 20%
type of
off your first order.
More a general
and get
towels
20%
type of
off your first order. 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with promo code STAPLE20.
Greetings. Come on in. Now you look real familiar. You've been in here before, haven't you? Well, welcome back. I see where your eyes went straight towards. Beautiful aims. Went straight towards. They say this beautiful went straight to ritualistic sacrifices at the hands of a twisted cult. Make a cut into this one called The People of Monk Castle. Welcome to the antiquarium of sinister happenings and odd goings on.
Whistleblowers, you're supposed to look scared like everyone who's going to prison. Remember that. Remember that. You're at 100% risk of retaliation according to the FBI. You be just as scared as them. Terminate the live stream! Terminate the live stream! Terminate the fucking live stream! Don't be saying, I don't want to take orange chicken complaints.
There was a place in Montclair where the most terrible of things occurred. Things too painful.
And there's things I'm not authorized to say, but let me just tell you this. Some of the FBI informants have the appropriate skill set to totally fuck with all of you who are going to prison, should they choose to.
911, what is your emergency?
Yeah. Hi, this is gonna sound kind of strange, but there's a...
They're not looking at an orange chicken future. It's my understanding one of them may indeed be working for the FBI as an actual employee or independent contractor.
I woke up to get a glass of water and I heard snow crunching around underneath my front window, so I peeked out. I'm looking right at him now. He's about 10 yards away from me. Something's not right.
What is your address, ma'am?
1617 Quarry Lane in Pinella Path.
I'm going to send a squad car your way, but that's quite a ways out. Are you alone in your house?
Yes, I'm alone.
Can you confirm that all of your doors and windows are locked?
I know that my front door is definitely locked, but I'll go check my back door again real quick.
Stay on the phone with me.
I appreciate your help, by the way. I know this is kind of strange, but
Also, now's a good time to remind everybody of the fun fact about me. What was Mystic Lynn, aka Lynette Renee Hansen's first word? Say it with me if you know it, little stalkers. My first word. Was it mama? No. Was it papa? No. Was it baba? No. It was no. No. No was my first word, and that says all you need to know about my personality.
I'm doing a handstand and he's
what made me talk? Someone doing something I said no to.
I don't know how he... Yeah, he's facing me and he's standing on his hands. He's got this huge smile and he's perfectly still. What the fuck? Please, get here. Someone now, please.
Ma'am, I need you to remain calm. I've put out the call and an officer's on his way.
His teeth are so huge. What the fuck? Please help me.
Ma'am, I want you to try and keep an eye on him.
And for those of you that are like, that's fucking adorable. It was adorable, dude. I was an adorable baby, dude. I looked just like the Gerber baby.
Confirm that your back door is
identical. Doppelganger.
Okay, I'm walking backwards now.
Check out my baby face.
Okay, yeah, my hand's on the back doorknob now. It's locked. I need to check the deadbolt, so I'm gonna take my eyes off him for a split second.
All right, ma'am, help is on the way. Just stay on the phone with me. Everything's gonna be all right. Ma'am? Ma'am, are you still there?
His face is up against the glass.
I need you to speak up. What is happening?
I looked away for a split second and now his face is pressed up against my front window. His teeth are huge and he's still smiling. There's no color in his eyes. Jesus, please help me. Why do I just fucking move?
Ma'am, I need you to go to the nearest room and lock yourself inside of it. Do you have a basement or a bedroom that you can lock yourself in?
He won't stop staring at me. It's gonna hurt me.
Lock yourself somewhere safe until the officer arrives at your house. Can you hear me?
Yes, okay, yes. I'm gonna lock myself in my room.
And you're positive that you're alone in the house, correct?
Yes, I'm alone in the house. Wait. He's moving.
Again, if you're wondering what phenomenal podcast are you listening to, it's the Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings. Scary stories. The first episode sucks. The second episode is so scary I won't listen to it again because I just imagine the lady with the song on the 5th floor, like punching down the lady in the eyes from the floor. Super scary stories. Some are misses.
Some are nightmarish, man. Like Feed the Pig. I'll make sure to play that one today, guys, for you.
Well, there
That
you
one's
are.
scary.
Been looking all over for you. They're still doing that road work out front, tearing up the street. If it carries on for much longer, I'm about set to tear up the Public Works Department at City Hall. Come over here. I want to show you something that was coincidentally torn from the ground as well. It's a bit morbid, and for those with more discerning tastes like yourself, it's a gravestone from New Vineyard
And for those of you
Memorial
wondering, where
Cemetery.
did we fuck up?
A terrible place and an
We fucked up
unbelievable
the first day of
story.
the inception.
How about
It's
you get
never
married in
been an
this one I
operation.
call Mr.
Not ever.
Widemouth.
Those of you that have been hanging around since March 2023, surprise!
During my
You're
childhood,
going to
my
prison
family was
and
like
you
a
were
drop of
actually
water
used
in
as
a
a
vast
patsy.
river, never remaining in one location for long. We settled in Rhode Island when I was 8, and there we remained until I went to college in Colorado Springs. Most of my memories are rooted in Rhode Island, but there are fragments in the attic of my brain which belong to the various homes we had lived in when I was much younger. Most of these memories are unclear and pointless. Chasing after another boy in the backyard of a house in North Carolina. Trying to build a raft to float on the creek behind the apartment we rented in Pennsylvania, and so on. There is one set of memories which remains as clear as glass, as though they were just made yesterday. I often wonder whether these memories are simply lucid dreams produced by the long sickness I experienced that spring, but in my heart, I know that they're real. We were living in a house just outside the bustling metropolis of New Vineyard, Maine, population 643. It was a large structure, especially for a family of 3. There were a number of rooms that I didn't see in the 5 months we resided there. In some ways, it was a waste of space, but it was the only house on the market at the time, at least within an hour's commute to my father's place of work. The day after my 5th birthday, attended by my parents alone, I came down with a fever. Doctor said I had mononucleosis, which meant no rough play and more fever for at least another 3 weeks. It was another 3 weeks. We were in the process of packing our things to move to Pennsylvania, and most of my things were already packed away in boxes, leaving my room barren. My mother brought me ginger ale and books several times a day, and these served the function of being my primary form of entertainment for the next few weeks. Boredom always loomed just around the corner, waiting to rear its ugly head and compound my misery. I don't exactly recall how I met Mr. Widemouth. I think it was about a week after I was diagnosed with mono. My first memory of the small creature was asking him if he had a name. He told me to call him Mr. Widemouth because his mouth was large. In fact, everything about him was large in comparison to his body. His head, his eyes, his crooked ears, but his mouth was by far the largest.
You look kind of like a Furby.
I said as he flipped through one of my books. Mr. Widemouth stopped and gave me a puzzled look.
Furby? What's a Furby?
He asked. I shrugged.
You know, the toy. The little robot with the big ears. You can pet and feed them almost like a real pet.
Oh.
Mr. Widemouth resumed his activity.
You don't need one of those. They aren't the same as having a real friend.
I remember Mr. Widemouth disappearing every time my mother stopped by to check in on me.
I lay under your bed.
He later explained.
I don't want your parents to see me. Let us play anymore.
We didn't do much during those first few days. Mr. Widemouth just looked at my books, fascinated by the stories and pictures they contained. The 3rd or 4th morning after I met him, he greeted me with a large smile on his face.
I have a new game we can play. We have to wait.
It is now
until
8:36
after
a.m.
your mother
This
comes
live
to
stream
check
should have
on
been
you,
recording for an hour
because she
straight.
can't see us
If
play
it exceeds 2 hours, we'll be doing better than Unit 207 has allowed.
After my mother
since
delivered more books and
7:55
soda at the
p.m.
usual time, Mr. Widemouth slipped out from under the bed and tugged my hand.
We have to go to the room at the end.
I objected at first,
first, as my parents had forbidden me to leave my bed without their permission, but Mr. Widemouth persisted until I gave in. The room in question had no furniture or wallpaper. Its only distinguishing feature was a window opposite the doorway. Mr. Widemouth darted across the room and gave the window a firm push, flinging it open. He then beckoned me to look out at the ground below. We were on the second story of the house, but it was on a hill, and from this angle the drop was farther than 2 stories due to the incline.
I like to play pretend up here,
Mr. Widemouth explained.
I pretend that there's a big, soft trampoline below this window, and I jump. If you pretend hard enough, you bounce back up like a feather. I want you to try.
I was a 5-year-old with a fever, so only a hint of skepticism darted through my thoughts as I looked down and considered the possibility.
It's a long drop.
But that's all a part of the fun. It wouldn't be fun if it was only a short drop. If it were that way, you may as well just bounce on a real trampoline.
Hey,
toyed with the
have I
idea,
told you?
picturing myself falling through the
You owe me
thin air only
millions.
to bounce back to the window on something unseen by human eyes. But the realist in me prevailed.
Maybe some other time.
I said.
I don't know if I have enough imagination. I can get hurt.
Mr. Widemouth's face contorted into a snarl, but only for a moment. Anger gave way to disappointment.
If you say so.
He spent the rest of the day under my bed, quiet as a mouse.
I do apologize, but a delivery just arrived here at the shop, and I need to sign for it. Sit tight, and I'll be back quicker than a rat up a drain pipe.
Psoriatic arthritis symptoms can be unpredictable.
I had joint pain, and I couldn't move like I used to.
I needed relief.
I got Cosentyx.
It helped me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
Free Fries Friday. 3 great words, especially in that exact order. Get a free medium fries with $1 minimum purchase.
Valid one time on Fridays at participating McDonald's for $12. One time on excludes tax, must not enter rewards.
Last year, Art the Clown blew up the box office with a Christmas sleigh ride for the ages. And now on Valentine's Day, Art is slashing his way into your home. That's right. On February 14th, Terrifier 3 makes its official streaming debut exclusively on Screambox. Listeners can get 3 months of Screambox for just $2.99 per month by going to terrifier3.com/BloodyFM. That's terrifier3.com/BloodyFM. So you can read
.com/BloodyFM
on Screambox.
Now, that wasn't so bad, was it? Let's glide back into this nightmare, shall we?
The following morning, Mr. Widemouth arrived holding a small box.
I want to teach you how to juggle. Here are some things you can use to practice before I some things you can use to practice.
I looked in the box. It was full of knives.
My parents will kill me.
I shouted, horrified that Mr. Widemouth had brought knives into my room. Objects that my parents would
I'll be spanked and grounded for a year.
Mr. Widemouth frowned.
It's fun to juggle with these. I want you to try it.
I pushed the box away.
I can't. I'll get in trouble. Knives aren't safe to just throw in the air.
Mr. Widemouth's frown deepened into a scowl. He took the box of knives and slid under my bed, remaining there the rest of the day. I began to wonder how often he was under me. I started having trouble sleeping after that. Mr. Widemouth often woke me up at night, saying he put a real trampoline under the window, a big one that I couldn't see in the dark. I always declined, tried to go back to sleep, but Mr. Widemouth persisted. Sometimes he stayed
Hey, somebody
by my
let
side
Miss 80
until
plus
early in the
years
morning,
know that what
encouraging
she
me
was
to
bragging about getting a quote
wasn't so
formal
fun to play with
rejection for me. Let her know it'll be the exact
My mother came to
opposite
me
as
one
she'll
morning and
find
told me
out
I
at
had
her
her permission to
arraignment.
walk around outside. She thought the fresh air would be good
She'll
for
be
me,
getting some
especially after
formal
being confined to my room
convictions, is
for
what
so
she'll be
long.
getting.
Ecstatic, I put on my sneakers and trotted out to the back porch, yearning for the feeling of sun on my face. Yearning for the feeling of sun on my face. Widemouth was waiting for me.
I have something I want you to see.
I must have given him a weird look because he then said,
It's safe, I promise.
I followed him to the beginning of a deer trail which ran through the woods behind the house.
This is an important path. I've had a lot of friends about your age. When they were ready, I took them down this path to a special
The bigger
place.
question is, are they going to have to fill up the
You weren't
entire
ready
North
yet.
Everett Precinct with new
But one
officers?
day,
North Everett Precinct with new
one
officers?
day,
North Everett Precinct with new officers?
I returned to the house, wondering what kind of place lay beyond that trail.
For the FBI, remember,
2
it's
weeks
a
after
no,
I
but
met
there
Mr.
will be a
Widemouth,
quote
the last load of our
exodus
things
at the
had been
North
packed and
Everett
moved.
Precinct.
I would be in a
North
cab
Everett
in that truck,
Precinct.
sitting next to my
North
father.
Everett Precinct.
I considered telling Mr. Widemouth that I would be leaving, but
That means there'll be
even at
survivors.
9 years old, I was beginning to suspect that perhaps the creature's intentions
You know who won't be
were
surviving?
not to my benefit.
Those of you that
despite
have been
what I said
actively
otherwise.
obstructing
For
justice,
this
tampering
reason,
with
I decided
evidence,
to keep
and
my
intimidating a
departure
witness
secret.
over the last 72 hours. 72
My
hours.
father and I were in the truck at 4.
72 hours.
My father and I were in the truck at 4.
72 hours.
Pennsylvania by lunchtime tomorrow with the help of an endless supply of coffee
Who
and a
are
six-pack of
literally
energy
still
drinks.
actively attempting to terminate
He
this
seemed
live
more
stream.
like a man who was about to run a marathon
As of
rather than
8:44
one who
a.m.
was about to spend 2 days sitting still.
Early enough for you?
My father asked with a hint of sympathy. I nodded and placed my head against the window, hoping for some sleep before the sun came up. I felt my father's hand on my shoulder.
This is the last move, son. I promise. I know it's hard for you, as sick as you've been. Once Daddy gets promoted, we can settle down and you can make friends.
I opened my eyes as we backed out of the driveway. I saw Mr. Widemouth's silhouette in my bedroom window. He stood motionless until the truck was about to turn onto the main road. He gave a pitiful little wave goodbye, steak knife in hand. I didn't
Let it
breathe
be
back.
known. Be known. Mrs. 80
Years
plus
later, I
years thought
returned
she
to
was
New
going to get a quote
The piece of
formal
land our house stood
rejection for
upon was
me.
empty except for the foundation. As the house burned,
Rejection for me.
empty except for the foundation.
But she's
The house
actually
burned
getting some
empty
formal
except for the
convictions
foundation.
for her actions. Actually getting some formal convictions for her actions. Also let her know, as she was cackling and laughing about before she made actionable the second actionable kidnapping.
Somehow tied to that house that no longer
Made
lies
actionable the
in
second action. That
trail
contrary
ended
to her
in Memorial
delusion,
Cemetery.
that contrary to her delusion, she'll be paying me tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. Tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. The FBI has said the North Everett Precinct and Snohomish County Prosecutor's Office are going to pay me more than they've ever paid
Thank you for your
anyone.
patronage.
They're going to
Hope
pay
you
me
enjoyed
more
your
than
new
they've
relic as
ever
much as
paid
thank you for your
anyone.
patronage.
And she is largely to blame.
Thank you for your patronage.
And she is largely to blame.
Absolutely no
Mrs.
refund.
Ha ha
No
ha!
changes.
I'll give her $1 million if
Be
she
held
can prove
liable for
it.
anything
Ha!
you may
I'll give her $1 million if she can prove it. Ladies, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. Ladies, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. And so is every idiot upstairs that's been following your unlawful directives and fraudulent court orders since March 2023. Yes, and fraudulent court orders since March 2023. You don't like being called a domestic terrorist because it is indeed what you are. Terrorist because it is indeed what you are.
Say you've done a hell of a job. Even the way you have given me a face and carved out the most minute details of my person in that cerebrum of yours is quite impressive indeed.
And for everyone wondering what the latest brief was from the FBI, it was a reiteration of what we've heard before. It was a reiteration of what we've heard before. Quote, I haven't even flexed yet, end quote. I haven't even flexed yet, end quote.
Until next time, close your eyes.
Have a terrific Thursday.
And dream. During regular business hours, of course, or by appointment, only for you, our best customer. You have a good night now.
The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings, Lot 011, Mr. Widemouth. Written by Perfect Circle 35. Narrated by David Dasmalchin. Featuring Jade Shand as the young narrator. Deidre Morton as Mr. Widemouth. Conan Freeman as the father. I'm a 911 operator. Written by Higgs Thunder. Featuring Scout Taylor Compton as the woman. Conan Freeman as the operator. Stephen Knowles as the antique dealer. Additional music by Coag, Kevin MacLeod, Jordy Delmo, Dave DeVille, and Tim Kulik. Engineering, production, and sound design by Trevor Shand. The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings is created and curated by Trevor and Lauren Shand. Theme music by the Newton Brothers. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Antiquarium Pod. Call the Antiquarium at 646-481-7197.
Psoriatic arthritis symptoms can be unpredictable.
I had joint pain and I couldn't move like I used to.
I needed relief.
I got Cosentix.
It helped me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentix.
If you went on a road trip and you didn't stop for a Big Mac or drop a crispy fry between the car seats or use your McDonald's bag as a placemat, then that wasn't a road trip. It was just a really long drive. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's. What's this all about?
What about nightmares? What? They can't tear out your soul anymore.
Anthology of horror, thrillers, and suspense. He has delivered you up to me.
I didn't do anything.
No! Character-driven tales from the dark side.
I'm no psycho. I'm hungry for your vengeance. I can feel them under my skin, and I had to cut them out. You can't help her. Release me. What? Risa, what? A man's severed head.
I need the light. You want me to fall down the stairs?
No.
I want to push you. I love you so fucking much.
Ominous Thrill. Available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Thrill you later.
Lowe's knows how to help you get the most out of your store run. That's why members save more with My Lowe's Rewards. Earn points towards My Lowe's money on eligible purchases. Get access to member-only deals and free member gifts. Plus, unlock free standard shipping when you reach Silver Key status. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
When we're stuck in the same routine, it can be tough to imagine new year possibilities. But sometimes a small change, like refreshing your dinner routine, can make a big difference in your day-to-day. Cook Unity is an easy way to reset your meal habits. Each meal is designed with you in mind, with chef-crafted dishes that bring vibrancy and health to your table. See what's possible with a simple reset. Go to cookunity.com/podcast or enter code podcast before checkout for 50% off your first week.
Well, howdy and hi. Always so good to see you here at the shop. There's something about this time of year. The leaves changing, a bit of a chill in the air. I want to show you a new consignment that might just chill you to the bone. They don't make them like this anymore. A solid iron chest, beautiful design work and etchings. Does come intact with a bit of an urban myth, shall we say. Unexplained things befell on those who dare open it. Bad things. Open it. Tell you what. You come to your own conclusion after I tell you the story of the Wicked One. Welcome to the antiquarium of sinister happenings and odd goings-on.
There is rampant chatter among the townspeople that have been executed for the practice of witchcraft in the neighboring community. Fear is contagious and pulsing through the veins of the Holbrook inhabitants. Autumn had taken hold and the weather had become frightfully cold. Coming into focus is a small cozy cottage in the woods. The cottage is cared for by Bertram and his 8-year-old son, Jasper. Bertram has spent almost a decade of his life trying to come to peace with his wife's tragic death. Sarah lost an excessive amount of blood during childbirth, and the arrival of her baby boy drained her last drop till there was nothing left. Bertram threw himself into his profession as a blacksmith and raising his son after Sarah's death. His determination to his craft had gotten him the reputation for the best axe head in all of Holbrook and the surrounding areas. Jasper helps the family business by assisting his dad in building tools, horseshoes, hammers, nails, and plowshares. They kept to themselves and had always been enough for each other. Bertram loved his son so much and never resented him for what had happened when he was born. Jasper looked so much like Sarah, and it was his only connection left to his beautiful wife. After her death, he was so very careful with his love for others. The townspeople had often tried to introduce Bertram to widows who had lost their husbands to war. He was a great catch, as he was a successful blacksmith and was undeniably handsome and kind. Bertram's heart was never open, but as Jasper got older and the need for a mother became more apparent, he became a little more open.
Is it time to go to the market?
Why, yes. It does appear to be time to go. Why are you so excited?
I am very taken by Mrs. Williams' apple orchard. She has the most delicious ruby red apples I have ever tasted. Father, would it be okay to get some apples?
I suppose that would be okay. Now get on your shoes and coat. There's plenty of work to be done around the house when we return.
Yes, Father.
On the walk to the outdoor market,
Yes, Father.
Bertram thought about how nice it would be if he had a wife to help him with chores and cooking. The pressure of raising Jasper on his own and providing for the family was often too much. Every time he had thoughts of another woman in the home, Sarah's face would appear, and the possibility of love disappeared as fast as it appeared. They arrived at the market, which was buzzing with families buying their weekly groceries. Each vendor had their best crops on display.
Father, look! There's Mrs. Williams' scrumptious apples. Let's go get some before all the good ones are sold.
Slow down, Jasper.
Why, hello, Jasper. How's my best and cutest customer?
He's quite well. Well, now that he is at your stand. Jasper, Mrs. Williams just asked how you are doing. Don't be rude and answer her back.
I'm good, Mrs. Williams.
Bertram locked eyes with Jasper and gave him a disappointing look.
And how are you, Mrs. Williams?
I'm just fine, Jasper, just fine. And how are you, Bertram?
Very well. Jasper keeps me busy.
I can see that.
How much do I owe you for today?
That will be 2 pence.
How much do I owe you for today?
His pocket
Well,
change
you're
to
at
find a
hundreds
small
of millions.
He noticed out of the corner of his eye a woman looking in his direction. He glanced
But it's
back
only 8:58
and
a.m.
noticed
Let's see
that
what
he
the grand
had never
total
seen her
is
before.
tonight.
The town was very small, and when new people showed up, people took note. The lady was tall, with chestnut brown hair that had been pinned up in a beautiful bun atop her head. Her face was angular, with a warm glow. Her bright green eyes were very enchanting. They locked eyes for a second.
Bertram, that will be 2 pence.
Bertram looked back at Mrs. Williams.
So sorry, Eleanor. Here you go. My mind was elsewhere.
Mrs. Williams knew that Agatha had caught Bertram's eye, even though he denied any interest.
That's Agatha. She just moved to Holbrook. She's a widow and has taken up residency with fellow widow Mary.
Oh, I hardly noticed.
Sure you haven't. The whole town has noticed her. She is rather striking.
Well, maybe I did notice her for a moment.
She has an apothecary stand. Perhaps you're in need of some medicines for healing.
Why, yes. Jasper on occasion gets a skin irritation. Maybe she has something to treat his issue. Thank you, Eleanor.
Bertram gathered his bag of apples and handed them to his son. They started walking over to the apothecary stand. Jasper had already started indulging in the bag of apples. Jasper was so happy with his apples that it was the only thing he could focus on. Agatha was finishing up with a customer and said her goodbyes.
Hi. May I help you?
Bertram could barely form a sentence. He was so nervous. His palms were sweaty and his heart was racing. He hadn't felt this way since he had first spotted Sarah many years ago.
Why, hello.
Is there anything you're looking for in particular? Do you need any cinchona bark or potassium nitrate?
Actually, I need something for my son's skin. I need something for my son's skin.
Salve on him twice a day.
Great. We will take it. So you are new in town?
Yes, I just arrived here last week. I'm a recent war widow, and I have no ties to Hills Road, so I came here for a fresh start.
I am sorry
Also,
to hear that.
Nerd Squad,
I
as
myself
of
am
9
also
a.m.
Although
PST,
Sarah passed.
whenever
away
Unit
8 years.
207,
My
there we go.
condolences to you and
There
your
are
son.
249 videos set
How
for
much
public
do I owe
viewing,
you for the salve?
No
according
charge.
to the YouTube
From a widow
interface.
to a widower.
I insist on paying.
No, I refuse.
Are you sure?
It's my treat.
Well, thank you.
Refuse.
Are you sure? How
It's
about
my
we come
treat.
over for lunch tomorrow? Since you are new to Holbrook, I can introduce you to some more townspeople. Come on. It's the least I can do for the salve.
I wouldn't be.
It's the least I can do for the salve.
I would.
So, will you come?
I would like that.
Then it's decided. We will see you tomorrow.
Bertram gave Agatha directions to the cottage. He picked up a few more items for tomorrow's brunch. On the way out, a man handed him a piece of paper. The paper read in bold, "Beware of witches." The document gave instructions if one suspects a witch is among us.
Also, remember, although they're preventing me from reading the whole police report, I did put in the description, section 3. This is not an operation. This is a criminal enterprise and domestic terrorist organization. It is imperative to state unequivocally that the actions documented herein and in all prior filings are not part of any legitimate law enforcement operation, nor are they justifiable under any legal pretext.
Even in death. Her long
This
blonde
is
hair
an
framed her
aggravated
tiny
criminal
face in the most
conspiracy,
perfect way.
a
Eyes
criminal
as brilliant bright as
enterprise,
the afternoon
and
sky.
constitutes the
Lucia was
actions
cold
of
and
a
mean to
domestic
Agatha, and
terrorist
no matter how hard she tried to
organization.
get affection from her mother,
The perpetrators,
Lucia treated
including
her like she
officers
didn't
of the
matter,
North Everett
because to
Precinct,
her,
individuals
she
in
didn't.
Unit 207,
Lucia
and
had
their
hoped that if she ignored
co-conspirators
Agatha enough,
are
she would
engaged
just
in a
disappear.
systematic and
Agatha's
sustained
father was always busy
campaign
working.
of
He only had
felony
children to appease
stalking
his
and
wife, and probably
harassment,
would have been a better father
constant
if he had had
surveillance,
boys.
intimidation
Some might say
tactics,
this
and
toxic
deliberate
environment shaped
disruption
the
of
person
my
Agatha
peace
grew
and
up to be.
safety.
She spent her whole
Cybercrimes
life
and
chasing love
evidence
and
tampering,
acceptance. That's all she
illegal
ever
termination of
wanted,
live
and would stop
streams,
at nothing to
erasure
find
of
it and keep
recordings,
it.
and hacking attempts to
The clock struck
obstruct
midnight,
justice
and Agatha
and
quietly snuck out
conceal
of bed.
their criminal
She slowly peeled
activities.
Bertram's arm off the side of her stomach.
Obstruction
and gently
of
placed it on her pillow.
justice,
She
rejection
grabbed the
of
lantern off of her
legitimate
nightstand
police
and
reports,
tiptoed into the parlour.
fraudulent court
She grabbed her
maneuvers,
coat and headed out
and
into the night.
concerted efforts to
She walked
impede
deep into the
any
woods with the glow of her
investigation
lantern
into
guiding
their
her careful
crimes.
steps. The damp, thick fog
Child
left
abuse
little
and
drop dots on her naked
exploitation.
skin.
The continued and
distance,
deliberate
a small
exploitation
dilapidated
of my
cottage stood
disabled
surrounded by
sons
tall
to
trees.
perpetrate felonies
window,
and
a small
further
light
this
radiated.
criminal
The wind had
conspiracy.
started to pick up, and the
Illegal
haunting howling
detainment
sent a
and
chill
kidnapping.
through Agatha's bones.
Ongoing illegal detainment within my own home,
Is anyone in here?
and prior
She cautiously
actionable
moved through the
kidnappings
cottage
of my
and saw a
disabled
candle
sons,
light in the back
civil
room.
rights and
She slowly
ADA
pushed open the old
violations,
splintered door.
systematic deprivation of my civil rights,
Shadow
and targeted
moved in the distance and
discrimination
floated toward
based
her
on
face swiftly.
disability,
An old
financial
woman in
fraud,
black
and
tattered coat
extortion,
appeared before her.
attempts
She
to
motioned to
extort
Agatha
and
to sit
defraud me
down at the round
through
table.
various
On the table
illegal
were
means.
sticks, herbs, and spices. A
For
book
no
bound in
immunity
oilskin
for
laid in the
unlawful
center,
directives.
with strange symbols and
Let it be
writings in a red
explicitly
lettering.
stated following
The old
unlawful
lady smelled
directives
of
from
dust and
superiors
decay.
or co-conspirators
Agatha sat
provides
down.
absolutely no
Did you do
immunity
as I
for these
told
criminal acts.
Yes, I did as you said. We were
Every
married.
individual
What do I do
involved,
now? What is
regardless
last?
of their
The old woman
position
held
or
out a
perceived
wrinkly hand.
authority,
Oh, well, yes.
is
Here
personally
you go.
and
She dropped a
criminally
pile of
liable
coins
for
in the
their
woman's hand.
participation
Place your
in
hands
this
on the table
conspiracy.
right side up.
The willingness to
Agatha
obstruct
does what the woman
justice,
asks.
tamper with
The woman
evidence,
takes a small
and
silver dagger
intimidate
out of
a
her cloth
federal
pouch.
witness
She wipes the dagger off with the
only
material,
deepens their
makes a small
culpability
incision with the
and
point on
ensures
Agatha's arm.
the maximum penalties
The old
under
woman
the
pulls her
law.
arm closer
Again,
with no
you're going to
reverence
have to
for
go to
her discomfort.
facebook.com/Mystic
She
Gwen Lives Only
squeezes a
You
few
to hear that
drops of
all,
bright red
or
blood onto a
assuming they
mortar.
haven't erased hours
Smoke
of
rises
footage,
from the bowl,
you can click
followed
on the
by a
4:32
nauseating
a.m.
stench.
live stream from today,
The old
February
woman starts
13th.
grinding
Fast
the
forward
concoction
roughly
of the
2 hours
bones of
in,
children,
and you'll hear me read
herbs,
it aloud
and
at
Agatha's
6:30 in the
blood
morning.
with the pestle. She starts whispering in a foreign ancient language.
Unos eres calm sort of
Unos eres calm sort of blows out, and the woman holds Agatha's hands. She puts pressure on her wrists, and the candle is lit again. The old woman's face catches the light, and her eyes roll in the back of her head, turn white and glow. Agatha gasps with fear. The woman whispers,
The child will only get in the way of your love and happiness. You will end up old and alone if you don't do as I say. You must get rid of the child and bring me his head. The wicked one calls upon it.
I can't do that. Bertram will never forgive me.
You must. Now, leave.
Agatha gathered her satchel, grabbed her coat back, and headed back into the night.
Oh, hey there. Just starting to get interesting, huh? Pardon the interruption, but it appears as though I have an unhappy customer to tend to. Why don't you go on and make yourself at home, and I'll be right back.
Milo's knows that free is just better. That's why Milo's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards Milo's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join Milo's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
When we feel stuck, it can be hard to picture what's possible in the new year. But sometimes a small change, like refreshing your dinner routine, can make a big difference in your day-to-day. Cook Unity makes it easy to reset your meal habits with a variety of vibrant, healthy meals crafted by award-winning chefs. The chefs you see on TV and in five-star kitchens are the chefs who craft each small batch meal, and they're delivered directly to your door, ready to enjoy. There's no cooking required, and it's way healthier and cheaper than other delivery options. Experience the convenience of dishes made from local, in-season ingredients, delivered straight to your door. It's an effortless way to savor high-quality, chef-prepared meals while feeling good about what you eat. Take a step toward a fresh start with Cook Unity. Chef-crafted meals designed with you in mind. Go to cookunity.com/podcast or enter code podcast before checkout to get 50% off your first week. That's 50% off your first week at cookunity.com/podcast.
James, you wear a lot of hats. Veteran and household chef, self-taught barber, and dream chaser, and student. You're an ander. At National University, we see the whole you. That's why we've created online and hybrid programs that flex to help you balance your full life, so you can focus on what's right in front of you. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.
Please accept my sincere apologies. Always business that needs tending to around this place. No matter. Now, where were we?
When she got home to the cottage, the crackling fire was almost out. She sat and warmed herself up before getting back into bed. The old woman's words played over and over in her head. She didn't care much for Jasper, and the thought of him jeopardizing her happiness was
Jeopardizing her happiness.
Agatha wasn't purely evil. She arranged for a fun day with a big surprise for Jasper. Of course, in exchange for using him as a sacrifice. The next morning, she and Jasper headed out for their special day.
Guess what, Jasper? Mrs. Williams said it would be okay if we went to her apple orchard today to pick some fresh apples.
I am so excited. I love Mrs. Williams' apples. Thank you.
You're welcome. Why don't you grab that wagon over there to put the apples in?
Of course.
You're welcome. Why don't you grab that wagon over there to put the apples in?
Mrs. Williams met them at the front. She gave Agatha a beautiful iron chest that had the most intricate designs on it. She told her to fill it with as much apples as she could.
This chest is gorgeous, Mrs. Williams.
Why, thank you, Agatha. An old lady didn't have any money to pay for fruit and vegetables from our farm, so she offered this in trade.
That's awfully nice of her.
I know. I'm sure this chest is worth more than what she took home. I would love to keep it, but I haven't got the room.
Well, thank you. We have the perfect spot for it.
As the afternoon sun heated up the ground, Jasper picked his last golden apple.
Wow, this is the best one I've picked all day.
Go ahead and drop it into the chest.
We have so many apples. We should make apple pie and apple bread and apple everything.
Agatha laughed, and for a short time her hidden agenda was never thought of. On the way home, Jasper begged to eat an apple. Agatha made him wait till they got to the cottage before eating. As they put the wagon through the gate and into the front yard, Agatha's memories of what she had to do came rushing back.
Jasper, go wash up and you can have an apple. Go wash up and you can have...
Exactly which one I'm going to pick.
When Jasper was finishing scrubbing the dirt from his hands and face, he was called into the kitchen. The heavy chest was sitting on the floor, full of the most delicious-looking apples.
Bend down and grab one.
Jasper bent down to inspect the apples, his head slowly hovering back and forth over the fruit, looking for the most perfect one. He announced with excitement that he had found the most magnificent apple. Agatha stood behind the chest. Without any hesitation, she grabbed the lid and slammed the heavy iron chest down on the base of Jasper's little neck. An instant loud crack accompanied his agonizing screams. The horrific sounds even made Agatha's skin crawl. The chest had muffled some of his screams, but you could still hear them through the holes. The screams got quieter, and Agatha slowly opened the box with one eye closed, afraid of what she would see. Jasper's body was still shaking and moving, and his head was only connected to his body by one single tendon laying on top of the apples. When she lifted up his head, his blue eyes were still moving, and his mouth was mumbling gibberish. Agatha jumped back in shock and dropped his head back in the chest. She had to step away from what she had just done. When she started walking away, she started slipping on pools of Jasper's crimson red blood. She went into the bedroom and composed herself, only returning to the chest when she was calm and collected. She had to hurry before Bertram got home from work and saw what she had done. She took a deep breath in and pulled Jasper's head from his body until the tendon snapped. When his head disconnected, a splash of blood landed on her right cheek. She used her arm to wipe it off. She put Jasper's head in a brown cloth bag and headed to the tiny cottage deep in the woods. When she got there, she frantically knocked on the old woman's door. She saw her through the window skinning some wild rabbits at the table. Agatha slowly opened the creaky door. She noticed the cottage always managed to somehow be dark, even during the day when it shouldn't. She wondered if it was the tall pine trees that surrounded the property, or some sort of dark magic. Maybe the darkness accounted for the cold dampness inside.
Hello? Andorra? I need to talk to you.
The old woman continued skinning her rabbits, making a large incision from the top of the chest to below the belly. She scooped out their intestines with her old dry hands, its blood and tissue getting stuck underneath the old woman's long, dirty nails. She would cycle between taking a bite of their insides and putting some in her mortar. She paid no attention to Agatha as if she wasn't there. She kept repeating the same breathy words over and over again. Agatha sat down and placed the young boy's head on the table. The old woman stopped what she was doing and stood quiet. The 3 candles on the table started lighting on their own, casting a shadow on the old woman's weathered face.
Hello?
Nerd Squad, I'm clicking on the Gmail application at 9:15 a.m. to see if they've already rejected today's police report.
Her eyes glowed white with yellow pus coating the outline of the whites of her eyes. 3 black snakes emerged from her dry, rotting mouth. They slithered on the table and down to the floor.
Not
the
yet.
old woman stood up in a dreamlike
Probably gonna wait
state
till later tonight or probably
pointed
tomorrow
to the
since
door.
tomorrow's Friday. And if you missed it for 17 months, the criminally and
Tomorrow's Friday. If you missed it for 17 months, the criminally and
directly and indirectly with people that they put at risk of federal imprisonment who've since blown the whistle. And some who haven't blown the whistle and are absolutely going to list. Independently, remember, the FBI said that the sales pitch was not whistleblowing. Remember, they said that for months.
Do what? I can't do that.
And I'm going to speculate here, Miss 80+ years was probably involved in the sales pitch.
This will bathe you in blood. You will be one with the dirt and alone blood for eternity.
Please be hush of our meetings. Not a soul can know. They're hanging women like you. And they can hang me too.
Now, leave.
Agatha got up from the chair and walked out the door. The waft of sage and decomposition tickled the hairs inside of her nose as she exited. It was an unforgettable smell. She remembered all that she had to do before Bertram came home and hurried through the woods to get there as fast as she could. When she arrived home, she had a brief moment of regret and a sense of sadness seeing Jasper's dead body on the floor. Those thoughts were quickly washed away, with thoughts of Bertram crying and yelling and her being locked up forever. Alone. She picked up Jasper's cold body and laid it on the woodworking table in the back. She picked up an axe and started feverishly chopping. She started with his arms, followed by his legs and torso. She had to add extra force when she hit a bone. When he was fully dismembered, she used a sharp kitchen knife to cut his body into smaller pieces, being sure to remove all clothing. She carefully removed his tiny fingernails. She thought those wouldn't cook down and would leave a bitter taste. Any pieces of his body she thought would be tough or wouldn't taste good, she fed to the wild dogs out back. She went into her cupboard and pulled out her massive iron stew pot. She went out back and filled the pot with water from the well. She added potatoes, parsnips, carrots, onion, sugar peas, and finally, the boy's meat, along with spices for flavor. She stirred it and put over the fire to simmer. Quickly, she grabbed a mop and cleaned up all the blood before it stained the floor. She made sure to rinse the apples before putting them back in the chest. The house looked cleaner than it ever had been. Putting them back in the chest for Bertram to come home from work. Agatha heard the door creak open. She took a deep breath in and convinced herself she could get through tonight.
Hello? Aggie? Something smells delicious. Where are you?
I'm in here.
Dinner smells incredible. What are you making?
Oh, it's nothing. Just some stew.
Well, I cannot wait to eat it.
Bertram looked around.
This place looks unbelievable. Did you spend all day cleaning?
Oh, it was nothing.
Where's Jasper?
Jasper?
Yes, Jasper. Where is he?
Bertram
Where's Jasper?
called out.
Jasper? Where are you, son?
That's right, he went over to Jacob's house to have supper with their family. I didn't think you would mind.
I don't mind. They do like to play squares
Supper with
and
their family.
stones.
I didn't think you would mind. Give you some stew.
I don't. Yes, that would be lovely. May I help you?
Oh no, you sit. You've worked hard all day.
Bertram sat at the round circular table outside the kitchen. Agatha poured 2 bowls of stew and placed them on the table with a set of spoons. Bertram couldn't help but dig right in.
Wow. You have really outdone yourself with this stew. This is the best stew I have ever had.
I mean, why thank you.
I'm not kidding. Try some.
Oh, I will. I'm just not that hungry. I had such a large lunch.
You know who would have loved this stew?
Before Agatha could answer, Bertram said,
Jasper. Jasper loves stew. What kind of meat is in it? I just can't place it.
Oh, well, it's rabbit.
It doesn't taste of rabbit.
It must be the spices. This time I used different ones.
Well, this was delectable. May I have another bowl?
Why, of course. Eat it all. It's all yours.
Agatha began to feel the ache of tears welling in her eyes. Her entire body went hot and numb. The muscles on her face twitched and contorted her pained look into a crooked grin as she sobbed through a sadness so overwhelming she couldn't help but mar it with laughter.
Agatha! What is it, my dear? Have you the devil? Agatha!
You see, what the old woman said was true. From then on, Agatha would in fact never be alone. The wicked one was of her, and her of him, for a boundless infinity of forevers. She felt herself lift off the ground, her pointed toes dragging across the floor as she glided toward the table where Bertram sat. He watched in astonishment as the pupils in her eyes vanished into a creamy, milky white.
It's so nice and
Thank you for your patronage. Hope you enjoyed your new relic as much as I've enjoyed passing along its sordid history. It does come with our usual warning, however. It's sordid history. Absolutely no refund. It does come with our usual warning, however. It's sordid history. Absolutely no refund. It may or may not occur while the object is in your possession. Oh, you think just because you're only listening to my voice that you have nothing to be concerned about? Let me assure you that your visit to the antiquarium, whether in the flesh or in your mind's eye, is most certainly not in vain. You are, after all, the architect of this place. I must say, you've done a hell of a job. The architect of this place. You've given me a face. I must say, you've done a hell of a job. The details of my person in that cerebrum of yours is quite impressive indeed. Therefore, the items you procure within these walls, even on a metaphysical level, are very walls, even on a metaphysical level. Now and forever, even on a metaphysical level. Now and forever, bill of sale, really. Till next time, we'll be waiting for you. Whenever you close your eyes, in the space between sleep and dreams, during regular business hours, of course, or by only for you, our best customer. Only for you, our you have a good night. Best customer.
The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings, Lot 012, The Wicked One. Written by Lauren Chand. Featuring Heather Tracy as the narrator, Addison Peacock as Agatha, Stephen Knowles as Bertram, Janet Peters as the old woman, Everett Chand as Jasper, Lauren Chand as Mrs. Williams. Additional music by Coag. Engineering, production, and sound design by Lauren Chand. The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings is created and curated by Trevor and Lauren Chand. Theme music by the Noon Brothers. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at AntiquariumPod. Call the Antiquarium at 646-481-7197.
James, you wear a lot of hats. Veteran and household chef, self-taught barber and dream chaser and student. You're an Ander. At National University, we see the whole you. That's why we've created online and hybrid programs that flex to help you balance your full life so you can focus on what's right in front of you. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.
What's this all about?
What about nightmares?
They can't tear out your soul anymore.
They can't tear out your soul.
A full-cast anthology of horror, thrillers, and suspense.
And he has delivered you up to me.
I didn't do anything.
No!
Character-driven tales from the dark side.
I'm no psycho. I'm hungry for your vengeance. I can feel them under my skin, and I had to cut them out. We can't help her. Release me. What? Risa, what?
A man's severed head.
I need the light. You want me to fall down the stairs?
No. I want to push you.
I love you so fucking much.
Ominous Thrill. Available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Thrill you later.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
to
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to
Hello, friend. Wow, has the wind ever picked up today? If this place wasn't bolted to the foundation, we'd surely have blown away at this point. What brings you into the shop today? Ah, thinking of getting into podcasting. People keep talking about those, and I've yet to listen to one. So, you're looking for sound equipment of some kind. How about this microphone? It's from a local TV station in a town that, well, I'll let them give you the update along with a look at the latest weather and sports in There's Something Really Weird Happening with My Local News Channel. Welcome to the antiquarium of sinister happenings and odd goings on.
There's something really weird happening with my local news channel. I'm one of those dinosaurs that still uses cable. Please, spare me your judgment. I like having our town's local news playing in the background. It's occasionally informative, but more often than not, the headlines are light. In such an eventful and politically charged time, it's nice to give my brain a break by switching to a channel where half the stories are about old animals celebrating their birthdays, traffic in the area, and upcoming fireworks celebrations. Tonight, for the most part, hadn't been much different. The anchors, Michael and Priya, were their usual selves. Some banter, some very boring headlines, and then a cut to what's-her-name on the street doing interviews about I forget and not really important. So you can probably imagine I had to do a double take when Michael casually dropped the following headline.
And in breaking news, residents of our county have been asked to close their windows, pull back their curtains, and stay indoors. Apparently, there's been some sort of chemical leak at a nearby plant, so locals are being asked to take precautions. This request is coming from the municipal government.
As this is breaking news, we are currently waiting for information on exactly what took place at the plant, and of course, just how dangerous this all might be.
What? Some sort of chemical spill in our area was a pretty damn big deal. It was strange to see the report delivered so nonchalantly from the anchors. I Googled my town and the words spill or leak or hazard and nothing came up. I switched stations to more mainstream news channels, CNN, but nothing about this was being covered there either. I figured maybe this wasn't such a big deal, or it was too new for anything outside local media to report on just yet. And so I went back to scrolling on my laptop while the news continued to play in the background. Half an hour passed as the anchors cycled through some more generic headlines. Then a quick reminder delivered by Michael.
And a notice to residents of our local county. Due to a chemical spill that is being reported in the area, residents have been strongly advised to stay indoors, close their windows, and shut their blinds.
We have been told that this chemical leak is extremely dangerous. Residents are advised to head inside immediately. There is a risk of death if you are exposed to the chemicals for a prolonged period.
Giving it a little bit of thought, the lack of news articles about this on the web put a weird feeling in my stomach. Was this story being suppressed?
Flipping through other news stations again, there was no mention of the story. Nothing on the news tickers either. Nada. I had to center myself and give myself a quick reality check. My middle of nowhere town wasn't important to anyone other than my local news station or the thousands or so who lived here. Still, in my curiosity, I got up from my comfortable spot on the sofa and peeked through a small sliver between my living room blinds. Nothing out of the ordinary. Cars in their driveways. Most of the lights in the nearby houses were off. It's midnight here. A couple of solitary bedroom lights on. Pretty much tame. All in all, I sat back down. This was probably the most tuned in I had ever been to the news. To my surprise, some really strange banter between Michael and Priya was playing out.
I almost wonder if we're safe in here.
What? You think this building isn't safe and that they'd have us deliver news about a leak that we're susceptible to?
Michael laughed. Big laughs. He looked at a piece of paper in his hands.
I heard it was actually a spill from a train. A train, not a power plant.
Is that so? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. We've got to find the levity.
We gotta find the levity.
Gotta find the levity in stressful moments like this. Hope you're all staying safe inside, curtains closed, windows locked. Remember, this is breaking news. You're hearing it here first.
Stay inside. Stay safe.
Tagged Michael, pointing to the camera.
We'll give you more details as they come in.
You're saying it was from a train now? I peeked outside again. Strange. Most of the lights were off, but some of my neighbors' cars were missing. I saw a family only a few houses down, loading into their car and immediately driving off. Was it safer to leave town? Did they just get exposed to the chemicals? It was hard not to ruminate. Hard not to keep Googling, switching to other news stations, texting my only close friends who lived in the area. No updates, nothing of substance. Back to the local news. They were covering another story of little importance. My eyes lazily lowered to the news ticker at the bottom of the screen. Between headlines about boring local happenings and Ariana Grande, for some reason, I saw the following line. They are lying. Run now. Almost as immediately as I saw it, it was scrubbed. Like it had never been there in the first place. Did I imagine that? Before I could ruminate, Priya got up from her desk.
And Priya's wrapping for the evening.
I'm done for the evening,
She affirmed. She walked off set. Michael sat there, smiling at the camera. This continued uninterrupted for, I shit you not, 30 seconds. Then, a cut to some sort of CCTV footage angle of a parking lot. It continued for a few seconds until Priya walked into frame, pressed a button on her keys, and opened the door to her car. Then, another cut. A poor quality zoom in on the moon. Not a full moon, mind you. It was partially obscured. I think the stage is called waxing gibbous, waning gibbous, maybe. Doesn't matter. 30 seconds of this, a shaky camera, and then another cut. The camera was back at the parking lot. Priya and her car were gone. All the cars in the parking lot were gone, actually. And then we were back with Michael. What the fuck? Michael went to the next story.
Coming up next, this former circus bear is celebrating his 18th birthday, only this time, this birthday comes with a dash of newfound freedom. We'll show you the heartwarming story of Binky and how he's enjoying his new life in the sun.
Michael chuckled as he delivered this headline before the channel went to commercials. Fresh off another unsuccessful Google search, I parted my blinds and looked outside once again. Nearly all the cars in my vicinity were gone. What the fuck was happening? The noise from the TV transitioned back to the distinctive tones of the local news channel. That must have been like a 10-second commercial break.
Thank you for joining us this evening. This is Michael, signing off. Bye-bye now. Stay indoors. Stay safe. Close your windows. Inside now, all right?
I backed away from the window and caught the last leg of Michael's broadcast. He'd gotten up from the desk and walked over to the camera, an absurdly big smile on his face, smiling with his eyes too, joyful. Then, without hesitation, he softly picked up the camera while giggling and moved it to the left to expand the frame beyond the anchor desk and the small set that he and Priya were on. Beyond the set, there was nothing. It was a black void. He then turned the camera all the way to the right, past the anchor desk and the set again. Nothing. Another endless black void. He then recentered the camera back to face the desk. The void beyond the set was still partially visible. He kept eye contact with the camera for a few more seconds, and then stepped to the side and out of frame. Do I run? The fuck do I do? What is this? Whispers came from the TV. Michael's voice, quiet this time.
You're doing great.
He whispered, as if he were beside the camera.
You're doing great. Just stay put. Windows closed. All right?
I needed to make a break for it. I needed to run.
And hey, because I like you, I got a little tip. He likes it when you stand in front of the bathroom mirror. He likes it. Just stand still in front of the mirror, won't you? Stay put. He'll come get you soon. You did great. You're doing great. You'll be here with us soon.
The channel cut to commercials right after that. A few seconds of stillness, and then I heard a rattling from my bathroom down the hallway. I froze in fear, hoping the sound would go away. Instead, it got louder and more aggressive. It was the sound of something crackling, fracturing. As I made a break for it, I heard my bathroom mirror shatter. Immediately, I raced down the stairs to my front door. As I did, I heard the generic commercial on my TV say the following line.
The all-new Cozy Comfort Cushions. So cozy, you want to stay put. Because the best place to be is right where you are.
I unlocked my door as the audio from the commercial started warping.
Stay put. Be right where you are. Don't leave.
As I swung the door open and prepared to run to my car, I felt something grab the back of my shirt, pulling me back in. It felt both light and like the heaviest thing I'd ever felt. Not sure where the willpower in me came from to escape its grasp, but as I writhed and fought with all of my might, I was able to break free from its hold, run to my car and drive off, not taking a single moment to look back at whatever was trying to pull me in. I've been driving for a few hours now, texted a few friends. I'm doing everything in my power to make sense of the inexplicable events that have taken place this evening. The fact that my GPS in my car keeps rerouting to the broadcast studio of my local news network isn't helping. Work isn't helping.
I do apologize, but a delivery just arrived here at the shop, and I need to sign for it. Sit tight, and I'll be back quicker than a rat up a drain pipe.
Last year, Art the Clown blew up the box office with a Christmas sleigh ride for the ages. And now on Valentine's Day, Art is slashing his way into your home. That's right. On February 14th, Terrifier 3 makes its official streaming debut exclusively on Screambox. Listeners can get 3 months of Screambox for just $2.99 per month by going to terrifier3.com/bloodyfm. That's terrifier3.com/bloodyfm so you can relive all of Art's bloody antics only on Screambox.
Now, that wasn't so bad, was it? Let's glide back into this nightmare, shall we?
And
In the last decade and a half, it's become infinitely easier to obtain exactly what you're looking for by way of a couple of keystrokes. The internet has made it all too simple to use a computer to change reality. An abundance of information is merely a search engine away, to the point where it's hard to imagine life as any different. Yet, a generation ago, when the words streaming and torrent were meaningless, save for conversations about water, people met face-to-face to conduct software swap parties, trading games and applications on Sharpie-labeled 5 1/4-inch floppies. Of course, most of the time the meets were a way for frugal, community-minded individuals to trade popular games like King's Quest and Maniac Mansion amongst themselves. However, a few early programming talents designed their own computer games to share amongst their circle of acquaintances, who, in turn, would pass it on until, if fun and well-designed enough, an independently developed game had its place in the collection of aficionados across the country. Think of it as the 80s equivalent of a viral video. Pale Luna, on the other hand, was never circulated outside of the San Francisco Bay Area. All known copies have been long disposed of. All computers that have ever run the game now detritus buried under layers of filth and polystyrene. This fact is attributed to a number of rather abstruse design choices made by its programmer. Pale Luna was a text adventure in the vein of Zork and the Lurking Horror, at a time when said genre was swiftly going out of fashion. Upon booting the program, the player was presented with a screen almost completely blank, except for the text, "You are in a dark room. Moonlight shines through the window. There is gold in the corner, along with a shovel and a rope. There is a door to the east. Command?" So began the game that one writer for a long, out-of-print fanzine decried as enigmatic, nonsensical, and completely unplayable, as the only commands that the game would accept were pick up gold, pick up shovel, pick up rope, open door, and go east. The player was soon presented with the following: reap your reward. Pale Luna smiles at you. You are in a forest. There are paths to the north, west, and east. Command? What quickly infuriated the few who've played the game was the confusing and buggy nature of the second screen onward. Only one of the directional decisions would be the correct one. For example, on this occasion, a command to go in a direction other than north would lead to the system freezing, requiring the operator to hard reboot the entire computer. Further, any subsequent screens seem to merely repeat the above text, with the difference being only the directions available. Worse still, the standard text adventure commands appear to be useless. The only accepted non-movement related prompts were use gold, which caused the game to display the message, not here. Use shovel, which brought up, not now. And use rope, which prompted the text, you've already used this. Most who played the game progressed a couple of screens into it before becoming fed up by having to constantly reboot and tossing the disc in disgust, writing off the experience as a shoddily programmed farce. However, there is one thing about the world of computers that remains true, no matter the era. Some people who
Breakfast
use
time
them
while
have
they
way too
starve
much
me.
time on their hands.
Still doing popcorn.
A young man by the name of Michael Nevins decided to see if there was more to Pale
Just a
Luna
little
than
heads
met
up,
the
guys. If
eye.
you get another addendum from
5
me, it's going to go
hours
over how
and
long it's
33
been since people
screens
allowed me
worth
to
of
go to the
trial and
mailbox,
error
the
and
garbage,
unplugged
the
computer
recycling,
ports
farm
later,
produce.
he finally managed to make the game display different text. The text in this new area read, Pale Luna smiles wide. There are no paths. Pale Luna smiles wide. The ground is soft. Pale Luna smiles wide. Here. Command? It was another hour still before Nevin stumbled upon the proper combination of phrases to make the game progress any further. Dig hole, drop gold. Then, fill hole. This caused the screen to display, congratulations. 40 into display. Congratulations. 121.4434. Upon which, the game ceased to accept commands, requiring the user to reboot one last time. After some deliberation, Nevins came to the conclusion that the numbers referred to lines of latitude and longitude. The coordinates led to a point in the sprawling forest that dominated the nearby Lassen Volcanic Park. As he possessed much more free time than sense, Nevins vowed to see Pale Luna through to its ending. The next day, armed with a map, a compass, and a shovel, he navigated the park's trails, noting with amusement how each turn he made corresponded roughly to those that he took in-game. Though he initially regretted bringing the cumbersome digging tool on a mere hunch, the path's similarity all but confirmed his suspicions that the journey would end with him face-to-face with an eccentric's buried treasure. Out of breath after a tricky struggle to the coordinates, he was pleasantly surprised by a literal stumble upon a patch of uneven dirt. Shoveling as excitedly as he was, it would be an understatement to say that he was taken aback when his heavy strokes unearthed the badly decomposing head of a blonde-haired little girl. Nevins promptly reported the situation to the authorities. The girl was identified as Karen Paulson, 11, reported as missing to the San Diego Police Department a year and a half prior. Efforts were made to track down the programmer of Pale Luna, but the nearly anonymous legal gray area in which the software swapping community operated inescapably led to many dead ends. Collectors have been known to offer upwards of 6 figures for an authentic copy of the game. The rest of Karen's body was never found.
Thank you for your patronage. Hope you enjoyed your new relic as much as I've enjoyed passing along its sordid history. It does come with our usual warning, however. Absolutely no refunds, no exchanges, and we won't be held liable for anything that may or may not occur while the object is in your possession. Oh, you think just because you're only listening to my voice that you have nothing to be concerned about? Let me assure you that your visit to the antiquarium, whether in the flesh or in your mind's eye, is most certainly not in vain. You are, after all, the architect of this place. I must say you've done a hell of a job. Even the way you have given me a face and carved out the most minute details of my person in that cerebrum of yours is quite impressive indeed. Therefore, the items you procure within these walls, even on a metaphysical level, are very, very real, and are now and forever part of your subconscious. All part of our standard bill of sale, really. Till next time, we'll be waiting for you whenever you close your eyes, in the space between sleep and dream. During regular business hours, of course, or by appointment, only for you, our best customer. You have a good night now.
The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings, Lot 013, Pale Luna. Written by Mikhail Honorides. Narrated by Gwyneth Glover. There's something really weird happening with my local news channel. Written by Mo T. Featuring Conan Freeman as the narrator. David Dasmelchin as Michael. Leah Kilpatrick as Priya. Stephen Knowles as the antique dealer. Additional music by Tim Kulik, Kevin MacLeod, Otis Galloway, Alexander Nakarada, Sasha End, and Coag. Theme music by the Newton Brothers. Engineering, production, and sound design by Trevor Shand. The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings is created and curated by Trevor and Lauren Shand. Theme music by the Noom Brothers. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Antiquarium Pod. Call the Antiquarium at 646-481-7197. What's this all about?
What about nightmares? Honest. They can't tear out your soul anymore.
Ominous Thrill, a full-cast anthology of horror, thrillers, and suspense. He has delivered you up to me.
Tell them what you did.
I didn't do anything.
No!
Character-driven tales from the dark side.
I'm no psycho. I'm hungry for your vengeance.
I could feel them under my skin, and I had to cut them out. We can't help her. Release me. What? Risa, what?
A man's severed head.
I need the light. You want me to fall down the stairs?
No. I want to push you. I love you so much.
Ominous Thrill. Available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and everywhere.
See, I just dipped it in the water. You crazy cuz.
American
Don't at
Giant
me.
makes great
I'm
clothing,
not the one.
sweatshirts, jeans, and more right here in the U.S. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com,
I
code
just dipped
STAPLE20.
it in the water.
Paramahansa Yogananda said, "Before you act, you have freedom. But after you act, the effect of that action will follow you whether you want it to or not. That is the law of karma." Now look at this interesting Japanese mask while I tell you a story you may well not believe. I call it Nothing is for Free. Welcome to the Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings and Odd Goings On.
When you begin to believe
Unit207,
you can have
the
whatever
female
you want,
upstairs is trying to
whenever you
terminate the
want,
live stream.
and that there are no
Succeed?
consequences. When you begin to
I don't
believe
hear
you
that.
can have
The
whatever
female
you
upstairs
want,
is trying to
whenever you
terminate the
want,
live stream.
and that there
It's the fat one at 9:55 a.m. Stop it,
so
fat
is
one.
the case with our little friend Jim. Although for him,
It's the fat one at 9:55 a.m. Stop it,
so
fat
is the
one.
case with
Domestic
our little
terrorist,
friend
child abusing,
Although
kidnapping,
for
hostage
him,
holding, stalker, you disgrace. Stop it, fat one. Domestic terrorist.
Hello there, young man. Are you looking for anything in particular?
I don't have a lot of money. You have a discount, Ben?
5-finger discount, Jim thought to himself. Jim considered himself the best shoplifter in the city, and he was very anxious to find a bargain here. He didn't even really care what he got, as long as it was free. The thrill was in the taking, not in the having.
No, son, we do not have a discount bin, but I am sure there's something here that is meant for you.
Also, don't take offense. I've been fat too. It never stopped me from getting busy, and I've fucked
full
lots
of
of
the
fat girls.
effluvium of centuries.
Also,
He
don't
wound
take
his
offense.
way
I've
through
been
the
fat
shop,
too. It never
narrowing
stopped me
on
from
the
getting busy, and I've
aisle,
fucked
full
lots
of
of
the
fat girls.
effluvium of musical instruments,
Some fat
furniture,
girls look better naked
mirrors,
than skinny ones,
ornate
dude.
boxes,
For real though.
weird things floating in glass
You'd be
jars.
surprised.
Then he saw it, sitting on the shelf with many other small items. A tiny Asian-looking mask, far too small to wear, but plenty small enough to fit in his pocket.
Don't mind if I do.
As Jim approached the front of the shop, he he regarded the old man behind the counter.
So, Pops, you don't seem to have any video cameras in here. Aren't you worried about somebody stealing something?
This type of bravado was one of Jim's favorite things, rubbing it in the guy's face that he had stolen something right out from under his nose.
No, son, I don't worry about those things at all. The shop has been here a long, long time. Long before video cameras were even a thing. I assure you, no one has ever taken anything from the store without paying for it.
Jim chuckled to himself as he exited the shop.
That's what you think.
Back at his apartment, Jim places the tiny mask on the shelf next to many other purloined items. His entire place is an eclectic mix of useless items that he laughingly refers to as the James T. Watson Museum of Attainable Art. No parking signs, office chairs, potted plants, and thousands of tiny little tchotchkes stolen from the best shops in the city completely make up the decorations of his home.
You look good there. Make yourself at home, my little friend. You are the latest addition to my fabulous collection. Huh?
Guys, this is the podcast. I'm eating popcorn. Again, don't be sad I called you fat, dude. I'm jealous of your fatness because you and your fellow domestic terrorists have been starving me since November 23rd amongst other crimes. Your fatness because you and your fellow domestic terrorists have been starving me since November 23rd amongst other crimes. Which is something that will be addressed in the next addendum.
Tortures him in a private hell of his own.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
On the bedside table, Jim notices the mask. Somehow, in the night, it has moved to his bedroom, and it seems slightly
They're still
larger
actively
than it was
attempting a whole
before.
gaggle of to cut off this live stream.
More importantly, how did you get in my dreams?
We appreciate your ongoing display of your criminal intent. You should anticipate going to King County Jail far sooner than next month at the
mask is by his
Or you
bed,
should
no matter where he
lean
leaves
back
it, and
all
always a
the way
little
back.
bigger than it was the day before.
Well, hello there, friend. Back again? What's it been, a week? I must say, you look like you've aged years.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a rough week. I'm just gonna look around if it's okay.
Why, of course. Make yourself at home.
Jim walks to the back of the shop, finds the place on the shelf from which he stole the mask, and reaching into his jacket, pulls the mask back out. It is now far too large to fit where it had been, but he moves some things around and replaces it before moving to the front of the shop, his glance shifting from side to side.
Did you find what you were looking
He
for?
figured out how to
looking for
terminate it
anything.
at 10 a.m.
Just really enjoy your shop. It's like a fucking museum.
As Jim enters his house, he sees the mask sitting in the middle of his coffee table, now the size of a dinner plate. The next week was a blur in Jim's mind. He threw the mask in the river, into a car in a junkyard to be destroyed, even watching the car be crushed into a cube. But every time he returns to his apartment, the mask was there, bigger. Even tried checking into a hotel, but the mask was there when he awoke on a pillow next to his. His dreams at night, when he could sleep at all, were horrifying.
Welcome back. What can I do for you today, my fine young man?
You have to help me, okay? You have to take this back, all right?
Back? My friend, you have been here before, but I don't remember you having made a purchase. And I certainly don't remember ever seeing a Japanese mask of quite that size. Perhaps you have mistaken our shop for another.
There's no mistake. I mean, there was. When I stole this, I shoplifted from your store, okay? I never should have done it, and I'm very sorry, but please take this back. It's destroying my life.
Shoplifted. That is a nasty habit. But as to taking it back, I cannot do that. You see, our store has a very strict policy.
No returns and no refunds.
No exchanges.
I'm not asking for a refund or exchange.
You're going to
didn't
prison
pay for it, okay?
Didn't you? I believe you still are.
Fuck you.
Of the
It's
new
quite
year.
a payment plan.
Fuck you and fuck this place. I don't know what you are,
Fuck
and
me.
I don't know what's going on here, but you can go to hell.
Friend, you are forgetting your mask.
No, I'm not. I am not. It will find me.
Just a week later, I heard on the radio that a young man had been found in his bed, crushed to death. The police were baffled as to how he might have been killed, as it seemed as though
But then it was
something
discovered
weighing a
that
ton
Mystic
had pressed
Gwen
down
came and
upon him.
sat on him
And yet
because
the
he was
only
a
thing they
domestic
found
terrorist.
was a tiny ivory Japanese mask. The following morning, this was laying on the counter. Beautiful, isn't it? Except for those odd brown stains on the back.
Time for my applesauce.
I do apologize, but a delivery just arrived here at the shop, and I need to sign for it. Sit tight, and I'll be back quicker than a rat up a drain pipe.
Last year, Art the Clown blew up the box office with a Christmas sleigh ride for the ages. And now on Valentine's Day, Art is slashing his way into your home. That's right. On February 14th, Terrifier 3 makes its official streaming debut exclusively on Screambox. Listeners can get 3 months of Terrifier 3 just $2.99 per month by going to Terrifier.com/bloody-FM so you can relive all of Art's bloody antics only on Screambox. FM, so you can relive all of Art's bloody antics only on Screambox.
Now
Shout.
don't be shy.
Shout.
Now so you
Let
can
it
relive
all
all
out.
of bloody antics
Soon you'll be in a federal penitentiary, and I don't think you'll be allowed to shout.
It soaks the boundless dark corners of this temple. I am Freya, the witch of the antiquarium. Have a seat and give me your hand. You see, my domain is the mystical. Ah, yes. It is as I thought. Death follows you. Listen, it is the calls of the covenant of hyacinth, for they will guide you through the cusp of purgatory itself.
The Book of Mysteries, Entry 13, Exorcismus. An ancient hermetic order has
Unit207
embedded their
continuing
sacred
to plot
texts
for how to
and
criminally and illegally
enchantments from
shut
the
off
Book
this
of
live stream,
Mysteries
something they've been
and all
actively
that you
attempting
hear
to do
in this place.
since the first 20 minutes of it.
Yes,
It's been
the
recording
story
since
you are about
7:36
to
a.m. and it
experience
is
is a
currently
unique
10:05 a.m.
For you will play your part along with it. The outcome is up to you. From wherever you are, you will come into contact with the paranormal, as some truly astonishing and unexplainable things are about to happen before you, in your own hands. Along things are about to happen before you, in your own hand. To take part, along the ordinance something in your physical space to connect to. You will require 8 playing cards. Number or suit do not matter. Any 8 will do. When you have retrieved them, you may resume this story. Ready? Let's begin. First, I have some terrible news. Terrible because this story is true. and you may be the only one who still has a chance to save her. Madison Walker is possessed, not by a demon, but by the 7 princes of hell. Her only hope resides in you.
Oh, damn, dude.
You are what the old ones call a seer. You may not know it yet, but you have special abilities. It is fate that has brought you to this very moment. But you have special abilities right at this instant. It is fate that has brought you to this very because you have been chosen to carry out the ritual.
Codename Donatello, that was for you. Remember, guys, what did Godzilla do for the smartest human being? That's right, he gave him a stick.
At stake, but you will risk harboring
That's your
evil
creator.
yourself.
Never forget.
This
It says it all, doesn't
sacrament is occurring in real time through a telepathic link to this teenage girl who is descending quickly into the bowels of hell itself.
If you don't come play with me, then we will kill you.
Take the 8 playing cards you see before you. While you have been listening to this, the Order has invoked upon them the Archangel Saint Michael. Make sure they are all face down. Keeping them face down the entire time, shuffle them in your hands as many times as you like. Do this for as long as the angels guide you. Whenever you stop is correct. Good. Now turn over the deck and look at the card that has revealed itself. That card has been infused with the soul of Madison Walker and must be protected at any cost. Do not forget this card. Write it down if you must. Turn the deck back over with Madison's soul card still face down and on the bottom. The other cards are now cursed with the wretched energy of unimaginable evil, each now a conduit for one of the 7 princes of hell. There isn't much time before this little girl is lost forever. With your finger, trace the symbol of a cross on the back of the top card. Repeat after me. I cast out Belphegor. Remove that card from the pile and set it aside. While still looking at the backs of the remaining cards, fan them out face down in front of you. Choose any one except Madison's, which is still on the bottom. Turn your randomly chosen card face up and insert it into the exact center of the pack. This should now be under 3 cards and above 3 cards. Close the fan and square the cards. Take a stack of cards, any amount will do, and remove them from the top of the deck. Place those underneath the cards that remain. You can do this again if the spirit guides you. Now, spread the cards between your hands. Do not alter their order. Now, spread the cards between your hands. Cards do not alter their order. And put them not alter their order. The face up card is already on top. Proceed with the ritual. Make sure the face-up card is on top, for that is Beelzebub. Repeat after me. I cast out Beelzebub. Throw the card across the room. The evil is getting stronger. To reconnect with the Holy Spirit, remove the top card and place it on the bottom.
These horror stories that have to do with games, I am just freaked out by because I would fuck it up, dude. Anytime there's rules like the elevator game story, thank goodness that didn't come out until I was already an adult, pretty much, because
Reconnect with the Holy
that shit
Spirit
freaked me
yet
out
again
hearing it at
by
39.
removing the top card
Same with
and
this.
placing
There's too
it
many
on
rules.
the
I gotta
bottom.
remember all these rules. I'm not doing it.
Oh no. Now
We'll be in
you're
a haunted
angering
house
the
next to a
demons.
monster or
You need to
something. Don't make me
confuse
play a
them.
game.
Quickly, mix the remaining 5 cards like so. Spread the cards in a fan, still face down. Take the top card and hide it somewhere in the pile amongst the others. It does not have to land in the perfect center. Just don't put it on the top or the bottom, or your soul and Madison's will be doomed for eternity in everlasting hellfire. Now, take another card or 2 from the top and do this again. Place them in the middle of the pile somewhere, not at the very bottom, not at the very top. Now, take the card that all these shuffles has brought to the top. Say, I cast ye out Asmodeus, and throw the card. Once again, reconnect with the Holy Spirit by removing the top card. Take the next card from the top and say, I cast out Mammon, and throw it across the room. Only 3 cards remain. Take the one on top and command, I cast ye out Lucifer, and remove it from the pile. Reconnect with the Holy Spirit by taking the top
For those of you wondering, well, I wonder what the music selection would be if we weren't such creepy domestic terrorists, stalking, kidnapping, hostage holding, starving, thieves, fraudsters, domestic terrorists that you are. I'd be playing It's Tricky to Rock Around on Time Nights, right? It's tricky.
Only 1 card remains. Do not yet turn it over. We have been on this journey together this entire time. This ritual was completed by choices of your own free will. Turn over the final card to find
It's tricky,
that
tricky,
fate
tricky.
has
It's
not
tricky to
failed
walk
us.
around,
As
that's
it
right, on
never
time,
does.
it's tricky.
You are indeed the salvation Madison was looking for.
Thank you for your patronage. Hope you enjoyed your new relic as much as I've enjoyed passing along its sordid history. It does come with our usual warning, however. It does come with our usual warning, however. No excuse to be held liable for anything that may or may not occur while the object is in your possession.
10:15 a.m.
Oh, you think just because you're only listening to my voice that you have nothing to be concerned about? Let me assure you that your visit to the antiquarium, whether in the flesh or in your mind's eye, is most certainly not in vain. You are, after all, the architect of this place. I must say, you've done a hell of a job. Even the way you have given me a face and carved out the most minute details of my person in that cerebrum of yours is
That
quite
should be
impressive
the next
indeed.
episode. It's not reality, it's
Therefore,
Minecraft.
the items you procure within
like
these
Fortnite,
walls,
though.
even on a metaphysical level, are very, very real, and are now and forever part of your
Why did anybody let Steve
subconscious.
play Minecraft? Why?
All part of our
God damn
standard
it.
bill of sale,
Never
really.
let Steve play Minecraft.
Till next time, we'll be waiting for you whenever you close your eyes in the space between sleep and dream. During regular business hours, of course, or by appointment only for you, our best customer. You have a good night now.
And some of you may be wondering, how are you doing it? How are you now suddenly preventing us from killing the live streams that we've been killing over 30
The
plus times
Antiquarium
for
of
less than
Sinister
72
Happenings,
hours?
Lot
How? We're
014,
so smooth in
Sacrament,
Unit 207.
written by Trevor
Here's the
Shand,
answer. The explicit
narrated
quote
by
from the
Laura
FBI that you guys
featuring
sent
Janet
before you
Peters
kidnapped my
as
kids.
Freya.
Quote,
Nothing is free,
they're not
written
nearly
by
as
Stephen
smooth
Knowles, narrated by
as they
Bruce
like to
Abels,
imagine.
featuring
Also,
Dan
spoiler
Sawa
alert, guys,
as
the
Jim,
FBI has confirmed
Stephen
you've
Knowles
already been
as the
labeled a
antique
domestic
dealer.
terrorist
Additional
organization.
sound effects
Your
by
first actionable
Laura Sawyer
kidnapping
of
with
Laura's
my
Horror Sounds on
co-conspirator,
YouTube
Richard
and
Garcia,
AV
my
Productions.
multiple times
Additional
stalker
music
and
by
abuser.
Coag, Kevin McLeod, Sasha
That being
Schultz,
said, the
Tim
federal
Kulig,
marshals
and
would
Otis
still love
Galloway.
to have you do a third
Engineering,
breaking and
production, and
entering
sound
and
design by
physically
Trevor
touch
Shand.
me.
Theme music
still love
by
that.
the New Brothers.
You keep
The
that in mind,
Antiquarium of
domestic
Sinister
terrorists.
Happenings is created and curated by Trevor and Lauren Shand. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter
And
at
whistleblowers, don't
Antiquarium
worry,
Pod.
we all know what you are.
Call the
Okay?
Antiquarium
You are
at
at risk of being beheaded by your
646-481-7197.
crazy Alu Akbar motherfuckers you've been following unlawful directives from. And that is why you are going to be paid for your hostile working environment. Because it's a criminal working environment, a criminal enterprise, a domestic terrorist organization that the city of Everett has been financing.
Ominous Thrill, a full cast anthology of horror, thrillers, and suspense.
And he has delivered you up to me.
I didn't do anything.
No!
Character-driven tales from the dark side.
I'm no psycho.
I'm hungry for your vengeance.
I can feel them under my skin, and I had to cut them out.
We can't help her.
We're leaving. What, Risa? What?
A man's severed head.
I need the light. You want me to fall down the stairs?
No. I want to push you. I love you so fucking much.
Ominous Thrill. Available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Thrill you later.
Big news! Wayfair's President's Day clearance is on now. Through February 18th, you can get up to 70% off all things home. Score deals on living room furniture, kitchen and dining, bedroom furniture, and more. Our President's Day clearance is kind of like a present. President's Day? While we workshop that, you can shop Wayfair's biggest deals since Black Friday with free and easy shipping straight to your door. Shop Wayfair's President's Day clearance today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now boarding Group A. Please have your boarding passes ready to scan. If your phone is cracked, old, or was chewed up by your Chihuahua travel companion, please refrain from holding up the line. And instead, simply go to Verizon and trade in any phone in any condition from one of their top brands for the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy AI on Unlimited Ultimate and a watch or tab. Also on them.
Service plan required for watch or tab. Trade-in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Well, look who we have here. Come on in. Did you ever pick the right time to stop by? We are having a contest today. The 13th customer wins an indelible prize. It just so happens
We are having a
that you walk
contest
through
today,
that
guys,
door
but it's a contest
just
that I'm
now.
not participating in.
Everyone who
It's
passes
a
through that
contest
door,
that people
whether
that are
their
good
journey
people
ends in a purchase
are
or
kicking
not,
the asses of
instantly
those
and
people in
automatically
prison
agrees
today,
to the
okay?
silent and binding contract
You'd be
that
surprised to
governs
know
my
who the
store.
good people are. Remember,
My property,
some
my
of you are
rules.
literally going to be like,
and my rules state
redacted
it
was
is
an
my
FBI
responsibility to treat
agent.
everyone
That's coming.
within
That's in
these
the
four
future.
walls equally.
You
and
got
with
a friend, you
exceptional
got
service.
a domestic terrorist
So you see,
that hates
whether
you
you intended to take something
and
home
knows
with
exactly
you or
what
not,
y'all are.
you
And I
coming into
can't
my
wait
place of
to
business
probably
makes you
sexually harass
my
him 6
customer,
months after the rest of you
of
are
which,
convicted.
coincidentally,
Just saying.
I have had nearly a dozen by the shop today. Scratch that. Almost certainly a dozen. Now that I think about it, a dozen exactly. Which means you are lucky customer 13. According to the parameters of the contest currently running at this very moment, That would dictate that you are entitled to this prize. Hope you're thirsty. Here before you is a 2-liter bottle of soda of some kind. I haven't tried this brand myself, but I hear there's nothing quite like it. Came from a gas and go at the end of the world. Sit with me, and let's share a glass of a story I call Fizzy Piss Grape Shit. Welcome to the antiquarium of sinister happenings and odd
Such a
goings
title.
on.
I don't remember this one, but I do remember the title. Fizzy Piss Grape Shit. Like what? The title I remember, the story I know.
Atomic City, Idaho. I don't know how many of them there are, but I can hear the men with guns outside the back door trying to jimmy the lock. It wasn't me that locked it, but I could tell it's that way because of how long it's taken them to come in. Their muffled voices are hurried, laced with panic and excitement. Lets me know things outside are still bad. Me and 3 others got out a few days ago, I think. Can't remember exactly. We tend to stick in a straight line for navigation. So we weren't so much as looking for the place as it just sort of got in our way. A gas and go on Route 26. At least it was a gas and go till some law pertaining to its underground gas tanks having to be removed fucked them out of most of the reason anyone bothered to stop in. That's what the handwritten sign near the register said anyways. I don't know why I read it when I first stopped in, but I remember it. Now the place just deals in junk food and rubbers for the bar crowd next door. It's a place to hide for a while, maybe get some food, get away from the guns. I don't know the others by name, don't talk to them much. We found each other on the road someplace in Washington State after the world took its big shit. We started traveling together. It was unspoken, but we felt better sticking together. Safety in numbers, maybe. Thought the gas and go might offer some respite from the men with guns, like the ones trying to jimmy the lock off the back door now. We'd come in the front way on account of that being the direction we were heading. The door was swung wide open then. Probably still is. Unless one of the other 3 shut it. I know I didn't. Wonder why the ones working the lock off the back door didn't swing around front first. Check that door. Maybe there's too much action out that way. Maybe they'd come from that way and saw the door was open, yawned and black, and thought, fuck that, looks too good. Probably worried that someone was waiting for him on the other side. And we are. We being me, plaid shirt, mall chick, and weird-looking old fucker. I feel like this is our place now. Finders, keepers, firsties, that kind of thing. We found it. Now fuck off. Especially if you're coming in with your cocks out looking to start shit. I'm closest to the back door and hear the lock bust apart before the others do. Maybe I'm the only one that hears it. I don't know. I was in the back room looking for something when I first heard him out back. What was I looking for? Can't remember now, but it doesn't matter. Got something new to deal with. I move out of the back room to gather up the others. When I think about it, they probably don't know the gas and go has been breached, and I need to warn them before the men with guns find them. Move out to the store proper, take a sharp left down aisle 2 of 3. It's a small place, so the shelving units in the aisles are high jobs, at least 7 feet tall, to compensate for the lack of floor space. They're mostly bare, picked clean, but right now I'm happy with the cover they provide. Mall chick is standing in the middle of aisle 2, about 20 feet straight in front, staring at me. I try to get my arms up to signal to her that she needs to scatter and get hid, but they feel like goddamn cinder blocks. They hardly budge, few days without food will do that. Body starts to tell you to go and get yourself fucked. I know better, but I decide to go to my voice. Something that none of us do much more of anymore. Out of fear, I think. Fear of being heard by the men with guns. My mouth feels like it's lined with cotton balls, and when I try to speak, all that comes out is a low, dry, throaty popping sound like a triplet of farts. My old chick doesn't hear me, just stands there staring, like she doesn't know who I am. Fear does that to you. Freezes you up, deer in the headlights. But that's how we live. Not just now, the men with guns spilling in through the back door, but every day since the world took its big shit. If we're not moving and keeping to our straight line, we're standing still as death, staring, hoping whatever it is just goes away.
Shit, there's someone in there.
One of them cries out. Another responds. His voice is excited and young.
Fuck yeah, there is. She's a pretty little bitch. Check it. Gonna nail this fucking cunt.
He sounds
Gonna nail this fucking cunt.
Probably thinks this is
Try it. You're going to
shit-kicking
prison. You're all
good
going to
time.
prison. You've only not been detained yet because you still have plans to do more shit that guarantees all of you will be in prison.
Like a cherry bomb down a well.
Whistleblowers excluded.
Malchick's head comes apart like a water balloon hitting pavement. Spilling meat and mess all over the tampons and rubbers. That's all that's left in aisle 2 now. Cooter corks and fucking rubbers. Malchick's body crumples to the floor, straight down like a marionette that's gotten its strings cut. Boom. Shuffle back and just left enough to put myself behind an end cap soda display. Shit. They see me. Shooter and his buddy laugh and whoop it up like kids at a midway shooting gallery. Like kids at a midway shooting gallery now.
Hurry, step right up, little man. Just 5 cents. We'll get you 3 shots, but one's all you need. Blow the lady's fantastic exploding pinata head clean off and win a prize.
Jesus, what's happened to us? Everything fell apart so fast the day the world took its big shit. Reports of what was happening were too fantastic to believe. Fantastic fantasy, not fantastic good. It only took about 72 hours for it all to collapse, and the men with guns to rise up. Just like that. They grabbed up their guns and their ammo, and they got their trucks and their cars and whatever else it was that got them around, and came at me. Came at us. I should be scared, but it's not registering. Rather, I'm more aware of the absence of the feeling than anything else. This is what it's like when all you do is survive. The commotion with the men with guns and Malchick's
Unit 207 so desperate they want me to go to sleep so they can criminally and illegally shut off all the internet and then restart it because it's
Never
their
been
only
this
go around
proactive
according to the
before.
one lady upstairs.
Maybe he and Malchick
Terminate
had
the
something
live
going
stream,
on that me and Plaid
This
Shirt
is why you're
weren't
going to
aware of.
prison, darling.
This
Aside from all the
whole
other
thing
overt
blows through,
felonies you've
though.
perpetrated.
We should try and talk.
This is why you're still
to
on
know
the
each other a
going to
bit.
prison list.
He bumps
Not
as he
the
steps
getting
past.
paid for doing
My
the right
shoulder
thing
knocks into
and
the center
not getting
display.
strip searched or booked
There's
with.
3 big 2-liter bottles left on the shelf. And one of them,
There's
something
only
like
2
Grape
lists.
Crush.
There is no gray
Not
area.
called Grape
Remember,
Crush.
every time
Tips
this is
off the
80
shelf
plus
and
years
drops
says there's
onto
a gray area, we know that
aluminum
means
floor
what?
like a heavy
That means it's
fat bomb.
absolutely illegal and there
Ready to
is no
explode on
immunity. It
contact
should be
with
like
both fizzy
4
purple
lazy
sugar
people to
water
perpetrate
in my
this crime
cover at the
for.
same time. For a moment,
People
the
she
thought of
doesn't
snapping
like.
out my hand to catch the bottle blinks through my mind. I see the smooth action of my arm as I grab the fat plastic 2-liter soda bomb by the cap end, inches away from kissing the linoleum. It's quite spectacular, and I feel good. Weird-looking old fucker could care less and keeps on keeping on. The fact that I've had to reveal my stunning reflexes and superhuman hand-eye coordination to the world, saving the gas and go floor from a sticky purple syrupy mess is lost on him. Of course, none of that happens. Like it was scripted. The soda bomb hits the floor, bursts at cap's end, and starts spinning at my feet, spraying fizzy piss grape shit over everything, making a bigger mess than Malchick's fantastic exploding
And
pinata
also,
head.
real talk, just so you
Makes as
know,
much
you little
noise, too.
idiots. Not talking to
Maybe
the
I chained
whistleblowers,
weird
talking to
looking
those of you
old
on the
fuckers
list of
like
people
dumbass.
going to prison,
I can
like
hear
you've
the
been
men with guns
requesting
moving
list.
down the aisle towards
I
me.
don't know why
No
you're
doubt
being
John took
prevented
inside
from
the soda bomb
terminating
was
the
gone.
live stream, but I
Of course, they'll see dumbass before
100%
they find me
support it.
tucked away behind the end cap. But I can't draw any comfort in that. He fucked up, but he's one of us.
I
We all make
100%
mistakes from
support
time to
you
time.
not doing
Shouldn't
something
have to
that
take a bullet
carries
because
a
of it.
minimum mandatory
I haven't seen
sentence of
plaid
3 to
shirts since
7
this morning.
years.
Was that when it was? Hope he's gotten himself squared away someplace safe. I don't know the guy from nothing, but out of the three, he's been my favorite to have around. Keeps to himself mostly, but is always the first one to pitch in when we need to gather up food on the road. Malchik and Dumbass were always the stragglers, only coming to the table after the supper bell had rung. Hope he's safe. Hope he sits in the dark someplace and lets the situation blow through.
Maybe it
Of
has
course,
to do
Dumbass
something with the
doesn't.
fact that I've been checking the
Proves his
audio
name
like
change
every
both
10 minutes,
fitting
which
and
isn't something
timely.
I want to do for 12
Does he
hours,
really
quite
think he
frankly.
could take these
I'd
two
like
guys
to
on his own?
take a bath
He's
again.
on
I'd
her.
like to go
That's
to
what
sleep,
separates
something I was
us
unable to
from the
do
men with
enjoyably
guns.
again for
They
8
have
hours. Because why?
We don't.
Because you perpetrated
We
the same
hide,
felonies you
keep
threatened
out
that I
of the
wrote in
way.
the description to
That's how we keep
after I
on
fell
keeping
asleep.
on. Here goes Dumbass.
Then you erased
strolling
over
down
3
aisle
hours
two,
of a recording
past the tampons, rubbers,
to add more
and
years
lube.
to your looming
Hot for
prison
her
sentence.
pleasure, cold for his. Or was it the other way around? And right into the line of fire.
Shit, man, there's another fucking fucker. Yeah, I got him. You're a weird looking old fucker, ain't ya?
I know that there are only two of them inside
But I
the
will
gas
tell
and
you
go with
this.
us. And two is a whole bunch
I do
better
know
than an entire
that it's a trap
raiding
by
party.
the FBI for you to
That'd be
terminate
real
this live
tough to
stream again.
survive.
I know, however you
I
do
also
it,
know
it's a
that they
trap.
aren't the men
It's
with
a trap.
guns at
It's
all.
bait, baby. It
They
is
always
bait.
travel in large packs. These two are on their own. Explains why they'd bother to sweat the lock on the back door. As opposed to coming to the front way, they haven't formed up with one of the militias
And
yet.
I also know
Don't
that
have
the
their
only
shit
reason it
together
hasn't
yet.
been terminated
Probably
has
just out
nothing
looking
to
for
do with
ding
me.
dongs and smokes.
I don't know
These are
why.
shit kickers, good old
But again,
boys.
I'm glad.
They're not
glad for it.
exterminators.
And I
Not
do know
part of
it's a
the
trap.
brotherhood.
It's a trap for
Not
everyone
yet, anyway.
upstairs who's been trying to terminate.
Gives me hope that maybe if me and Plaid Shirt can keep our heads down and out of the way, these two will just gather up what shit they need and hit the road. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. No Jack, and don't you come back no more. Jack, throwing another round snaps me out of my days. This is happening more and more lately.
My sincerest apologies for the interruption, but it appears as though there are some issues with an unhappy customer. Tell you what, let me go take care of things real quick, and I'll be right with you.
And then I just want to remind you all, the FBI is far closer than you all know. I've been authorized to say they could be here in
Well,
under
there you are.
7 minutes,
Been looking
5
all over
minutes.
for you.
Big
They
news.
could be here
Wayfair's
real
President's
quick,
Day
you
clearance
dumb
is on now.
You
And
little
these are
domestic
big
terrorist.
deals, like Wayfair's best deals since Black Friday. Right now through February 18th.
I'd like for
can
you
score
to
up
imagine that
70% off
Unit
everything home at
307
Wayfair.
or whatever
Did
number
we
is
mention
above
there's
you
free and easy
could
delivery straight to
possibly
your door?
actually be
There
there.
may
Why
even
don't
be
you
some
imagine
flash deals
that
popping
today?
up too. You'll just have to
While you
shop and
play
see.
with the bait.
So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's President's Day clearance today through February 18th at wayfair.com.
February 18th at Wayfair. Every home.
So sorry about the minor inconvenience. Now, where were we?
Dun dun dun!
Strange phantom zones of nebulous thought swallowing me up, spitting me back to the here and now. And I'm forgetting things more often.
Unit
too.
207 didn't like
Simple
that
things, like
suggestion
stuff
for
I'm
them
looking
to
for
imagine
while
the
I'm
unit
suddenly
above them was
someplace.
the FBI. Let me tell you, they did
worries
not
me.
like that one
Till I
at
get killed.
all.
Like dumbass strolling
Listen
down aisle
to
two.
the sound
Out
of
look,
silence.
But his
Of
growls
silence.
been hit. Sharp, sudden barks like he's been socked in the gut. Hard.
You're gonna be
Sure,
real
his aim must
surprised.
be off. Or maybe he's just fucking around. Getting a
Those
taste
of
for
you
this killing
requesting to
thing.
go to prison.
Maybe Malchik was hit first. Maybe she did something to him. Maybe he's still packing that boner he
Oh
got.
snap! Don't at me!
Afraid
Don't
to
at
lose
me!
it.
I'm
So he
not
wants
the
to take his
one.
time with his killing. Make it last. Keep his newfound manhood stiff and true as a goddamn flagpole. Whatever he's doing, The second shot seals the deal. The dumbass's sharp, sudden barks trade for the sound of his body hitting the linoleum. The two good old boys whooping it up again.
Hurry, step right up. Win a prize. Say, my boy, that's a heck of a shot. Right between the fucking eyes. Go ahead and take your pick. Anything off the prize wall is yours to keep.
Dumbass taking the heat for the soda bomb thing has saved my bacon. I feel bad for the guy, of course, but grateful still that it's not me lying cock up in the middle of the tampons and rubbers aisle with my brains painting the floor. But I keep my cool, stay as still as I can. Maybe these two hot doggers will just pinch whatever shit they need and keep on. Keep calm and they'll carry the fuck on.
Yo, Mitch, check the rest of the place for any more squatters. I'll grab the beers and smokes. Coolio, dude. Remember Miller's and Tecates and some Slim Jims, too. I'm dying for some meat, man.
Mitch replies, me too. In fact, I'm starving. I don't remember the last time I ate. But now that Mitch has mentioned it, it's all I can think of. Meat, food, fuel, the energy I need to keep on keeping on. And this dumbass, pardon me out of respect for the recently passed, this asshole Mitch goes and gets my hunger up. The thought of plaid shirt crosses my mind again. He's in a dark place, hunkered down and waiting for all this to blow through, I decide. He'd have shown himself by now otherwise. Plaid shirt is an alpha kind of dude. Out on the road, him and me took down plenty of game together. Mitch and his dipshit pal are nothing compared to the animals we've faced out in the open road. But no dice here. He's letting this one slide, playing it smart. These two good old boys ain't worth the risk of exposing himself. I get that. So I'll do the same. Let Mitch and dipshit have their way with the place and leave. Then it'll just be me and plaid shirt like it should have always been. Malchick and dumbass were all right for the company, but they would have gotten us killed eventually. Almost did today. If I'm going to get hit like plaid shirt, I need to do it quick. Mitch is squeaking down aisle 2 heading my way. At first, I'm not sure of the sound, but the math comes together pretty quick. Sneakers plus Malchick's brains on the floor equals squishy, squeaky footsteps on the linoleum. Good thing, too, is it gives me a gauge for how close Mitch is and how long I have. But I can't move. At least not in any direction away from Mitch's squishy, squeaky sneakers. Instead, I feel the overwhelming urge to suddenly jump out, give Mitch the monster fucking scare of his young life. That set him straight. Teach him to come into a man's squat and start blowing away his traveling companions. Never been one for urges. Never followed my gut.
It's
Always
been
my head.
real quiet ever since
This
I
one,
put forth
I go
that hypothetical about the unit above
At least
them
that's what my
possibly
legs are
being
saying as they
occupied
lurch
by
me
the
out from
very
the safety of
FBI
the end
agents
cap,
they think
right
they're
into Mitch's line of
smoother
sight.
than.
His eyes go wide as
Not a
dinner
peep
plates
now.
at the side of me.
Dead side.
Mitch
Everybody
tries to
upstairs done
get his
with
30-06 up inside it, but his hands and his brains can't agree.
Maybe Officer Porky Pig or
Winds up
Peekaboo showed up with
fumbling the
donuts and they're just stuffing their little pie holes.
Actually kind of throwing it at me. Weird. I think maybe I should go for the gun now that Mitch has pretty much offered it to me, but realize that's not going to work. Pretty sure Mitch knows this too, but he doesn't seem to take any comfort in it. He's too busy filling the back of his pants with my big reveal. Ta-da, asshole. My legs are keeping me moving the whole time this is happening, so as Mitch is reacting and fumbling and shitting himself, I keep getting closer to him.
Won't that be hilarious
Stay the
if that's
fuck away
the
from
leg
me.
sweep? You hear running of
Chokes out
somebody
at
on
me.
the stairs
Oh,
and
no.
boom, your door's kicked in.
Me
That'd be
bearing down on him.
hilarious.
Mitch decides to do the instinctively responsible thing. Tug tail and rabbit.
Surprise,
As he plants his
motherfucker.
squishy, squeaky sneaker and turns and pushes off, his foot slips out, and his legs make like a pair of scissors being yanked wide open. Mitch's balance shits the bed, and he's in the air in one instant and on his back the next, right next to dumbass's body. When he lands, his head cracks good and it turns him stupid. He tries to blink himself back to the here and now, but his eyes just roll too far back into his skull. His mouth opens and closes like a fish sucking air. He looks helpless, and the amount of gore he sat himself into lends the whole side of Mitch with a certain pathetic slant. Staring down at Mitch sucking in there, trying to gather all his marbles back in his sack. I suddenly remember the other one. What's his name? Mitch's pally. Dipshit. What's his name? Remember Dipshit? We went together at beers and Slim Jims, which is what got my
R.I.P. He used to be officer at the North Everett Precinct of Stalkers, and now he's manager at Panda Express.
This little
He
ruckus,
takes orange chicken
tampons,
complaints.
rubbers, and lube, and brains and teeth and shit while we're at it. Might bring Dipshit around. I should get before Dipshit sees me standing over his drinking buddy like I had something to do with him being on his back, dying in a mess of shit and brains. I gave him a scare, sure, but Mitch's sloppy footwork is all his own doing. But again, I can't move. Not the way I want to. I'm starving still. Worse than before when Mitch, the fucking big mouth, went and mentioned Slim Jims. Why didn't I ever think of Slim Jims before? I would have given a Slim Jim a day in court. Like Mitch a moment ago, my brain and bits can't agree on anything. Brain says, turn and run and find some dark corner to get hid and wait for the dipshit to come back and find Mitch and get spooked and piss off out of here. Legs say, nope. And I hear movement behind me. Feel it too. Eyes on the back of my head. Or one eye at least, peeking through a high-powered scope, making the back of my head look like a target the size of a movie screen at this distance. I'm fucked. But then nothing happens. I'm sure Dipshit is there standing right behind me.
What was the
Like
last
he's not fessing up
FBI
to
brief?
it.
It
Maybe
was,
he's waiting for
quote,
me to turn around
we are
so he
laughing.
can tag me between the
End
eyes.
quote.
Probably wants to say some shit before he does it. Like when Charlie Bronson smoked some street punk in one of the
Also,
Death
I
Wish
can't take
flicks.
credit for the orange chicken
blammo.
insult. That came from
Back
Tim
of my head,
Dolan's latest episode on
empty
Saturday, dude.
Adding a third coat of brains to aisle 2. Tampons,
But
rubbers,
it's so
lube,
fitting.
brains and
So
teeth
fitting.
and shit on my fucking friends. Thank you
I
very
used
much.
to be an officer at the precinct
My
of
stomach
fraudsters.
pangs hard.
Precinct of stalkers.
Fucker hurts.
I'm in the North Everett
There's no
Precinct.
time to think about
And
food.
then
knowing
I
I'm about to
kidnapped
get
kids that I
permanently
abused,
dead,
and I stalked this
that's where
woman
my
I
head goes
stole
to
from for
nonetheless.
years. And I hacked her over and over and
believe I
over
haven't turned
again
around
and
yet.
committed so many cyber crimes that I'm going to prison for longer than I have left to
Get
live.
on with getting on.
But I took a plea deal,
Gotta get this
and
humble
now
over with
I'm a
quick and
manager at
angry.
Panda Express,
Muster
and
up
I
what I
take
need
orange
to look
chicken
back over my
complaints.
right shoulder and face my ender. Should I smile at him? A defiant look at the end of my life that says, fuck you. Bring it on.
And
I'm
remember, the
ready to rock and
whistleblowers are the real heroes because this
Yeah.
is their day,
I think
okay?
I'll smile.
They go out to work. There's
When I
another
finally
whistleblower
do
that they
turn
don't
my
know
head
is a
back over my
whistleblower,
shoulder,
and there's
it
Alu
isn't
Akbar
dipshit
and
that I
Alu
see.
Akbar, and they're like,
Plaid shirt. My buddy plaid shirt come out hiding. I want to say something to him. Tell him how good it is that he's okay. That I was worried. Hoped that he got to hiding when Mitch and Dipshit came through the back door. Tell him what happened to Malchick, that weird-looking old fucker. How I changed weird-looking old fucker's name to dumbass after the incident with the soda bomb. Tell him how goddamn hungry I was. I wanted to. I couldn't. Couldn't say a word to
is
him.
it vain to think I'm
Not
hilarious?
since the world took its big shit. Not since I died. Came back. Plaid shirt standing there. His mouth and chin and the whole front of his blue namesake.
Whistleblowers, you're afraid. You're
sticky
afraid and
red
you're mad.
mess.
Come on. Grab
He
your
opens
little
his mouth
machete,
to
wrap a
greet
towel around your
But
head.
his gut
Blend it
brain
in.
spills out over his lower lip and rolls down his chin. Hangs there. Guess he found Dipshit, drinking beers and Slim Jims. Guess he got the hunger too. Zombies don't talk. We think a whole bunch. More than you know. Right now, all I can think about is getting down on my knees,
It's funny because it's
tearing
true.
into
That's
Mitch.
why it's funny. It's
burying
true,
my
dude.
face
That
in
is what the poor whistleblowers have to do. Every day they go into Unit207, they enter a cave.
Thank you for your patronage. Hope you enjoyed your new relic as much as I've enjoyed passing along its sordid history.
Tits, dude. They're Bin Laden
It
has
does
tits.
come with our usual warning, however. Absolutely no refunds, no
Tits and heels.
exchanges, and we won't be held liable for anything that may or may not occur while the object is in your possession. Oh, You think just because you're only listening to my voice that you have nothing to be concerned about? Let me assure you that your visit to the antiquarium, whether in the flesh or in your mind's eye, is most certainly not in vain. You are, after all, the architect of this place. I must say, you've done a hell of a job. Even the way you have given me a face and carved out the most minute details of my person in that cerebrum of yours is quite impressive indeed. Therefore, the items you procure within these walls, even on a metaphysical level,
So anyway, shout out to sneaky, underappreciated
and are
good
now
men
and
today.
forever part of your subconscious. All part of our standard bill of sale, really. Till next time, we'll be waiting for you whenever you close your eyes. In the space between sleep and dream. During regular business hours, of course, or by appointment, only for you, our best customer. You have a good night now.
The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings, Lot 015, Fizzy Piss Grape Shit. Written by Reese Savitas. Performed and narrated by Conan Freeman, featuring Stephen Knowles as the antique dealer. Additional sound effects by AV Productions. Additional music by Conan Freeman, Coag, and Kevin MacLeod. Engineering, production, and sound design by Trevor Shand. Theme music by the Newton Brothers. The Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings is created and curated by Trevor and Lauren Shand. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at AntiquariumPod. Call the Antiquarium at 646-481-7197.
Oh no. Ching Ching Chong, the female Kim Jae-hons are upstairs trying to outlast the live stream still. My goodness, ladies. Really, it's been 3 hours.
Ominous thrill.
Somebody
Podcast
please give
anthology
them
of
some
horror,
kimchi and
thrillers,
rice.
and suspense.
Distract them with food.
I didn't do anything.
No!
Character-driven tales from the dark side.
I'm no psycho. I'm hungry for your vengeance. I could feel them under my skin and I had to cut them out. We can't help her. We're leaving. What? Risa, what? A man's severed head.
I need the light. You want me to fall down the stairs?
No. I want to push you. I love you so fucking much.
Ominous thrill. Available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Thrill you later.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Nerd Squad at 10:50 to see if they've rejected the latest police report.
You again. Can't tell you how much we love the repeat visits to our little shop. Something very unique came in the other day that has been disrupting my sleep in the worst way. What do you make
The
of
domestic
this?
terrorists known as
An
the
envelope
precinct of
full of
stalkers,
ephemera of
formerly
some
the
sort.
precinct of fraudsters.
Appears to be old
I've
newspaper
not yet
clippings
rejected the
from a
report. They're too
deeply
busy
disturbing
upstairs
missing persons
doing their
case
whole Alu Akbar.
where an entire family
Kim
just
Jong.
disappeared.
I'd say with boobs, but we all know
Tattered
Kim's got them
Polaroids of
anyway.
each one of them
those
in here,
two
too.
upstairs.
Ah, just this is from the Driscoll
I'd say
case.
with boobs, but we all know
Tattered
Kim's got them
Polaroids of
anyway.
each one of them
Those
in
two
here, too.
upstairs.
If you think you have the stomach, however, take a seat at the table here while I tell you all about the Pancake family. Welcome to the antiquarium of sinister happenings and odd goings on.
Remember, whistleblowers, be vigilant. Alu Akbar all day, man. Blend in the cave. Tell the Kim Jong-uns they have great rockets. You love their rockets.
That pale.
It's funny because they go quiet when they consider
Jesus,
the
I bet I look
possibility
like
of
a
the
ghost.
FBI working in the unit above them,
What?
or when I call the females Kim
No,
Jong. They
I'm
don't even like
scratch.
that either, guys. Are you surprised?
I'm sorry to ramble. It's just that I'm
Ching
What's the
ching
word for
chong, they're Kim Jong. They got some more mushroom
Attached.
clouds for this Jew.
strange feeling.
They wanna blow me up, but they're
Been
going
here enough
to
times in the
prison.
field.
Ching ching chong.
Sort of
The only
figured
reason you
if
haven't been detained is
I
because
was
you
ever
still
going to
have
experience it
plans
myself,
to put
then
others in prison
I would
with
have
you.
experienced it by now. It's a hell of a thing.
Highly controlled. FBI
I feel
investigation.
like I'm floating outside my body. Just cut the cord and I'd float away. You see the crime scene? Don't look at the pictures. Don't even touch the file. You'll thank me. I can't get my knees to stop rattling. And while you're holding onto the coffee like that, you're shaking the table, aren't I? Hold on a second. Let me back up the chair. All right, that's better.
We gotta go official now, Hob. Can you confirm for the record that you're waiving your right to an attorney?
No, I'm still not interested in an attorney. I mean, yes, I'm waiving my rights. Sorry.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let the record show that Detective Hobson Milgate, retired, has waived his right to an attorney.
I won't need a lawyer after the DA stops puking and considers taking it public. They're not showing that to a jury.
Are you ready to begin?
No. We'll talk anyway.
What led you to the crime scene on the night in question?
Would you believe I was planning a fishing trip before this started? Never mind. Hold on, I'm thinking. Hard to organize it. Never been on this side of the interrogation table before. I guess it started with the reporter. Name of Bamer. She contacted me a week ago by email and claimed she had new information on the Driscoll murders. I was the lead investigator. The case had gone unsolved for 20 years. Cold as ice. Frankly, I thought it was bullshit at first. You know how that can be. Most of the time, it's not even on purpose. Everyone thinks they know something that will crack the case wide open. Theories are easy when you don't have to check them against evidence. The Driscoll murders were a big story around these parts. Lots of interest, lots of press. Over the years, I must have gotten a couple hundred shit theories. When I retired, I handed the investigation over to Detective Carroll. But I didn't want him to be bothered. I know he's busy with recent gang activity. I figured I'd check it out as a courtesy. I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere. I met her for lunch at Puryear's Cafe. Good-looking blonde gal, professional. She didn't fit the typical profile of a hoaxer or a conspiracy theorist. Not that I put too much faith in profiles. She also might have been one of those creepy gals that gets off on death. God knows I've dealt with those too. I still thought she might be pulling my leg, or maybe she had been fooled too. But she had a file with her. Looked legit. It contained what appeared to be a confession by the Driscoll. Well, he wasn't a murderer, was he? I really do wish he had been, you know. It'd have been so much better for everyone.
Can you please fill us in on the relevant details of the Driscoll case?
Let's see. Would have been 20 years ago now. Thinking of all those years, 20 goddamn years. That's a long time to be.
Take your time, Hub.
Thanks. The Driscolls were a family of 6 out in the suburbs. Upper middle class. Father was an attorney. Mother ran her own business selling pottery out of her house. 4 children, all high school age and below. Good kids. On a roll, no criminal records to speak of. The oldest son was caught smoking dope at his high school once, but nothing much besides that. Just the typical stuff you find when you look at people too closely. They disappeared October 13th, 1994. No trace was found of bodies. The mystery in seeing how it was right around Halloween is probably why the press went so crazy. You still see it show up on some of those unsolved mystery shows. A whole family disappeared and no one saw a thing. No one knew where they went. A neighbor logged a sound complaint, which is how we got involved. There was an alarm going off and they figured it might be an intruder or something. We dispatched the vehicle. When no one answered the door, a patrolman went in to investigate. There were obvious signs of a struggle in the youngest daughter's bedroom. The bed had been flipped over and the sheets were torn. The alarm was a carbon monoxide detector. We found elevated concentrations of carbon monoxide in all the fabric of the bedspreads except for the youngest daughter's. We wouldn't have known to look without the alarm. The neighbor indicated the alarm had been sounding for over a day, and he'd been unable to get anyone to answer the door during that time. We also found several aluminum canisters and some hoses in a dumpster a few blocks away. At the time, we assumed the Driscolls had been gassed and disposed of at a different location. Except, of course, the daughter who woke up at the end and put up a struggle. The investigation gave no leads. Of course, our first thought was that the father did it. We checked it out, but he didn't have a motive. No leads to follow up on. Same with the mother. Surviving family checked out clean too. The father had a few clients who might have had motive, but the means weren't there. He was a divorce lawyer, but not for anybody who could have taken out an entire family without leaving evidence. There was a chemistry teacher who lived 3 blocks away, and we investigated him for a while because of the canisters, but he was alibied out. Same with the dentist who lived nearby. The wife had an online flirtation with some kid out of England, but nothing adulterous, and he wasn't even in the country at the time of the murders. We settled, unhappily, on the idea of a random killing. Hardest pieces of shit to catch when there's no pattern like that. We must have sunk tens of thousands of man-hours into this case chasing down leads. Nothing ever came out of it. We did track down the canisters. They were stolen from a laboratory 10 miles away. There was no security footage. Couldn't find any leads on the thief. After 6 months with no repeat attacks, the investigation went cold. The Driscolls had been knocked out and abducted. Like I said, no one ever found the bodies. Who was to say they hadn't just run off? Until, well, I'd rather only talk about that once.
What can you tell us about how the confession wound up with Miss Bamer?
She'd been following the case for some years, both personally and as a reporter. Like I said, it captured the imagination of a lot of people. Even seemingly normal folks thought it could have been aliens, ghosts, or demons. Miss Bamer published a retrospective on the murders given the 20-year anniversary. It caused a renewed interest, which happened from time to time. As usual, I declined to comment, citing lack of new evidence. I remember her asking for my quote, though, which is why I accepted the lunch meeting. After publication of the article, Miss Bamer claimed that she had been sent a file she wished to have me authenticate. The most pertinent part of the file was a confession. I assured Miss Bamer that such false documents are not uncommon, especially on older cases like this, and that I'd personally heard 24 confessions of the Driscoll murders. She was insistent. Once I felt she wasn't trying to pull off a hoax or getting off on the idea of talking about a murder, I agreed to the meeting. She stated the confession had been mailed to her in the same envelope she showed to me when we met for lunch.
Can you describe its contents?
Old newspaper clippings outlining the progress of my investigation. They seemed appropriately yellowed, so I guess they were from the trophy book of the perpetrator. There were also 6 photos alleging to be the individual members of the Driscoll family, as well as several other photos of the facility where they had been taken. Look at that. My hands won't stop shaking, you see? I'm trying as hard as I can. I can't make it happen. I'll have to ask the paramedic for a sedative when I'm done with the statement. I don't think I'll be able to sleep otherwise. No, I'm fine for now. I don't want anything to interfere with my recollection for your recording. Just hanging around in my head like... Sorry. I'll stay focused. The photos. The photos were of the Driscoll family, of course. At the time, I didn't know that. The photos had aged poorly, and they could have been of anyone. It was very hard to distinguish features. However, given the elaborate nature of the file, I figured it did warrant a further look. As to the confession letter, well, it was brief. It gave an address. That's the first thing I noticed. I couldn't locate the address online, which meant it had to be old. The confession letter said, "Stop printing lies. I never killed anyone. It just took a while to get them ready for breakfast." There was no signature. I just remember something. God damn it. We got sent the breakfast menu a month after the disappearance. Someone had drawn a red circle around a picture of pancakes. The letter said, "They're not dead. They're getting ready for breakfast." I put it in the junk lead file. Oh, God.
Detective Melgate, do you need a moment?
Oh, God. How could have I known? We tried to track down the menu. We could never find out where it had come from. It wasn't any place local. The identifying information had been cut out. I don't know what else we could have done. I just
Why did you decide to personally investigate the location mentioned in the letter?
Sorry. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a hoax. I still wasn't convinced. I've had 20 years of people sending me fake evidence. I guess maybe the case captured my imagination too. I always figured that one day I'd think of something I'd overlooked and solve the whole thing. Felt unbelievable to have someone dump the answer in my lap. I needed to see with my own 2 eyes. Miss Bamer had pinpointed the location with city records, but neither of us was sure if it was still there. It was an abandoned industrial building. The last time it had a valid mailing address was 50 years ago. It might have caved in for all we knew. I think I wanted to be the one that cracked it, whether or not it was dumped in my lap. The case was hung over my head for 20 years. Miss Bamer and I agreed to meet there the following morning.
Can you describe the crime scene?
My sincerest apologies for the interruption, but it appears as though there are some issues with an unhappy customer. Tell you what, let me go take care of things real quick, and I'll be right with you. Well, there you are. Been looking all over for you. So sorry about the minor inconvenience. Now, where were we?
Can you describe the crime scene?
Yeah. It was an industrial building, as I stated. Approximately 120 feet long by maybe 45 feet wide. It was a wooden structure, and at first the conditions seemed to match the neighboring buildings. However,